Lord, we've been coming here racing for many a year. Been a lot of good memories made here. We just hope this afternoon maybe a few more can be made. Lord, once again, we want to ask a blessing on our military men and women each and every day and the leaders of our country. Lord, we thank you for the Turner family for letting us use this beautiful piece of property. Continue to bless their family. Lord, just take us all home when this is over with so we can get back together again one day. And we thank you for your son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention to the first turn as a Union County High School JROTC Color Guard Detachment presents us with our nation's colors. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please rise for the singing of our national anthem being performed today by Union native Amy House.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early lights what so proudly
After nearly 2 decades, the VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC has become as much of a tradition for the GNCC racing nation as it has here in Union, South Carolina. Hello, everyone, and welcome to round number 4 of America's Premier Off-Road Racing Championship, the 2015 AMSOIL GNCC Series presented by Maxxis and AMA National Championship. And this is the VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC, and as we said, nearly 20 years of GNCC racing has been tackling these hills in South Carolina, and today, no different. We are greeted with probably some of the best weather conditions we have been greeted with so far in 2015. Beautiful sunshiny skies, temperatures in the mid-70s, possibly pushing close to 80, the hottest race of the season so far, and rightfully so because things are really starting to heat up as far as the championship is concerned. Let's check in with Jen Kenyon.
That's right, Rodney. It is a beautiful day for racing here in Union, South Carolina. And you're right, this championship battle is heating up heading into round 4. Adam McGill, that 521 machine, he holds the last 2 wins heading into this round. And that's a pretty big streak considering the competition that he's up against this season. Walker Fowler, he does have a race win under his belt so far here in 2015, but one guy we have not seen in the center of the podium just yet is the number 1 of Chris Borich. He's had a tough start to the season. He's been consistent, but he did have one mechanical failure that did hold him back a little bit in those championship point standings. So we're going to be looking for the number 1 to make his way back to the center of the podium, but he's going to have some tough competition to break through before he gets there. So Rodney, let's go down to you on the start. We'll get today's lineup and we'll see just how this thing shakes down here
Where
today.
we are about to be introduced to our starting lineup for today. And welcome once again back here to Union, South Carolina as the 19th running of this Big Buck GNCC gets set to get underway here from the Turner family farm. Our piece of history about ready to unfold here today as round number 4 gets set to tackle these hills. And of course, as we get set to do so, let us introduce to you today's starting lineup, starting with first in points today. He rides aboard the number 521 with 2 wins to his credit and a second place position to open up the 2014 season. He rides aboard the Honda out of West Union, West Virginia. It is Adam McGill. And the family is proud today as McGill makes his way to the starting line, rolling to the line second today in points. He rides aboard the number 2 from Rogers, Ohio on an Infab and Pro Yamaha, backed by Maxxis, MXP, and Lone Star, Walker Fowler. Rolling to the line today, third in points. He rides aboard the number 6 from Bidwell, Ohio on the Yamaha, Bryson Neal. Rolling to the line fourth today in points aboard the number 9, the sophomore from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania on a coastal Waynesburg Yamaha, backed by Axis, Lone Star, and Moto Experts, G. Shadron. Rolling to the line today, fifth in points. He rides aboard the number 4. They call him the Sneaky Snake from out of Casca, Pennsylvania on the Honda, Jared McClure. Rolling to the line today, sixth in points. Sneaky Snake. Rolling to the line today, sixth in points. Aboard the number 1, a 6-time GNCC ATV champion from Sunbury, Pennsylvania on a Maxxis factory-backed Yamaha, Chris Borich. Rolling to the line today, 7th in points. Aboard the number 16 from Aurora, Ohio on the Yamaha, Johnny Gallagher. Rolling to the line next, he is 8th in points. Aboard the number 7, out of Irwin, Pennsylvania, Suzuki rider Chris Bithell. Rolling to the line today, 9th in points. Riding aboard the number 12 from Hopedale, Ohio on the Yamaha, Crazy K, Kevin Yoho. To the line, 10th today in points. He rides aboard the number 14 from Manchester, Maryland, LW himself, Landon Wolf. Rolling to the line next, riding aboard the 341 from Medina, Ohio on the Honda, Brian Wolf. Rolling to the line next, aboard the number 934 from Marietta, Ohio on a Baldwin Motorsports Moose Racing Maxxis-backed Honda, Braden Hinthorn. And last, and certainly not least, aboard the number 13 from Akron, Ohio on a B&R Maxxis Halter Racing back Yamaha, Josh Merritt. And that, ladies and gentlemen, your starting lineup for this VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC, where we will have $250 up for grabs today in our All Balls Racing and All Balls Bearings and Component Whole Shot Award. $250 from those great folks. Hot Cams will unleash the power with them for our XC2 Pro AM class with $100. But right now, folks, all attention turns to Ricky Towery up near turn number 1 as our maestro and conductor of ceremonies is poised and ready to bring to the world and the racing fans of this world, of course, the start of the Big Buck GNCC. 13 XC1 Pro riders and some 150 plus other riders on the rows behind them are going to create quite an obstacle, and not only that, quite a spectacle for the race fans here in Union, South Carolina, as well as the race fans at home along the World Wide Web and across the globe at RacerTV.com. Ricky Towery giving these riders their final cues as he makes his way to the front of the line. He says 1 minute before the start of the VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC as the crowd gathers around the first turns in anticipation of this great spectacle that has become as much a tradition for the community as it has for the GNCC Racing Nation here at the Big Buck. Like Christmas, like Easter, like your birthday, everybody celebrates Big Buck GNCC Day here in Union. And right now, Ricky readies them and lets them know it's time to shut them down, guys. Shut them down, shut them down, shut them down. We are now less than 30 seconds away from getting GNCC racing underway. And I got to ask you folks, right now here, Big Buck GNCC fans, are you ready to go GNCC racing? Now, come on, South Carolina. That's pretty good, but there's a whole lot of you, and I think you can do better than that. I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you ready to go GNCC racing? 10 seconds. And row number 1, the XC1 Pro, will be off and rolling at our VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC. Riders rounding the first turn. Going for that $200 all balls whole shot award. It's Adam McGill. McGill getting pushed out by Bryson Neal. Neal getting a wheel underneath, but it's McGill going to take the early lead in this one as we go to the XC2 Pro-Am class now. Cole Richardson, Marty Christopherson, Fred Marley, Randy Hamilton, James Green, Wes Kinsley, Jonathan Fugate, Levi Cohen, Robbie Picarelli, Blake Tornes, Tommy Coons Jr., Luke Shepard, Alan Blavos, Cody Collier, Bryson Hops, Ben Brink, Stevie Golden, Cameron Bruce, Nathan Walpe, Kevin Cunningham, Anthony Herring, Michael Lancaster, Brad Amon, and Jake Stonebreaker ready to roll in 10 seconds. And they're off. In perfect unison. The kickstarts go down, the push buttons go in, and it's the number 5 of Cole Richardson, Infab and Pro Yamaha, taking another hole shot, something that he had never done until round 1 earlier this year. Junior A 22-plus class coming up next. Nathan Hornacek, Michael McAvoy, Matthew King, Justin Paul, Chuck Norris, Simon Bissell, Zachary Dean, Joshua Beach, Cameron Rogers, Austin Parks, Kevin Patterson, Cole Williamson, Billy Hartman, Stephen Cobert, also Dwight Pollard, Brett Henke, Chris Cage, and Dustin Pickett ready to roll in 10 seconds. Around the first turn, we roll here with our next wave of riders, and it's going to be, I believe, the 706 of Dwight Pollard on a DeRisi Racing Tire Blocks Lone Star back machine. As we move next to the Vet A28 Plus class now, we got riders like Jeff Pickens, Todd Demery, Wesley Stone, Nick Camilli. Got Kenneth Kelly, Thomas Barrett, Brian Cook. Oh, welcome back, Brian Cook. We got 3 former XC1 pros in this class today. Walter Shoemaker, 4. Make it Brandon Summers out there. Dustin Hendershot, Matt Hanna, and Matt Pierce ready to roll in 10 seconds. And here we go. It was 1 year ago here at the Big Buck GNCC that we received the bad news about the passing of Laz and Marianne Summers. Today, their son Brandon jumps to the 2nd place position in their honor and memory today in this Vet A28 Plus class. Brandon Summers out of Coshocton, Ohio, running the 784. College A, 16 to 21, Christian Meyer, Kenny Schick, Tyler McDaniel, Nick Royalty, Brandon Morgan, Michael Frederick, Doug Howard, Devin Freeman, Brody Lambro, also Brad Pearson, Brandon Eichert. 10 seconds. And Summers did get the whole shot. That guy we saw was a late start from the row previous. So Brandon Summers got the whole shot and the early lead in that class. What a fitting tribute to his pops, no doubt. 703 grabbing the early lead in this one. That might have been Kenny Schick, 73. But we move on next to our senior AB 38+ class. John Glotta, Aaron Delancey, John Dimitri, Mark Potter, Brian Schrantz, also Tommy Thompson, Lane Coyle, Brian Foltz, Chuck Horton, Mark Batson, and Rusty Repass, all ready to roll in this senior AB 38+ class in 10 seconds. And they're off here in the senior AB class. Watching Mark Batson, that Media All-Stars rider backed by ITP, Lone Star Racing as well. Let's see if he can grab another hole shot. And I think he might have. Nope, he was buried in the pack. Sorry about that. Didn't quite catch the number on that early leader, but wow. I think that 38+ class is going to be a little more challenging than anticipated. Junior B 22+ class, Eric Hollyfield, Robert Matt, Brett Fike, also James Mauger, Liam Cater, John Davis, Brian Felicki, Travis Jones, Chris Riddle, Jonathan Kuda. 10 seconds. Also Caleb Bailey, P.P. DeMarco, Daniel Edgar, also Cody Posovic, Trevor Payne, Rex Pierce, Derek Murray, Cody Wolford, Lane Corey, and Tyler Foster. Old Ben P.P. DeMarco. And the 3:16. Must have been a different number on his bike than on my sheets here, so we move to our next class, the Vet B 30+ class, in 10 seconds. Jeremy Gouchard, Todd Mascala, Sam Lamp, Jason Dillard, Charles Rogers, Chris Davidson, Raymond Ward, Wayne Henson, Eddie Seegers, Gregory Westfall, Josh Salsa, Mark Smith, Ricky Zorn from Vigilant Vet Racing, Dale Batson from Media All-Stars, Daniel Webb, Brian Locke, Adam Reed, Philip Thayer, and out front here at the stripe, 598 of Ricky Zorn out of Nashville, Tennessee, your Vigilant Vet Racing rider there, backed by Kenda Tires and Elka Suspension. Way to go, Big Ricky. He's awful big to be calling Ricky, though. He's a big, big boy, a veteran of these times. And, of course, the College B, 16-21, getting set to roll in a matter of 10 seconds. College B, 16-21-year-old class off and rolling on this final one. Spencer Modlin, Bobby Duker, Andrew Mandeck, Cameron Horton, Donald Baden. Actually 31 riders in this one. And 274 out of Beverly, West Virginia, I believe Dustin Atkinson grabbing the whole shot in this one and snagging the early lead as we kick off another spectacular day of racing here in 2015, and we kick off another spectacular GNCC affair here at the Turner Family Farms for this Big Buck GNCC. 19 years we celebrate here in 2015, and we're glad that you're here to celebrate with us. Racing continues in just a moment. Stick around on RacerTV.com.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best?
The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood. That's why I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
This RacerTV live broadcast is brought to you by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. By Rocky Mountain ATV MC, get ready. By Maxxis Tires, find your flow. And powered by Yamaha Generators.
All right, and welcome back to GNCC Live here on RacerTV.com. We're at round 4 of the 2015 AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series, presented by Maxxis, of course. I'm Jen Kenyon, joined here by Fred Andrews, and we're at day 1 of the VP Racing Fuels Big Buck GNCC. Fred, we are experiencing maybe some of the best weather we've seen here in Big Buck in quite some time.
Yeah, Jen, you know, it's been a while since we've had some nice sunshine here. We had a little bit of rain at the beginning of the week, so it's going to be a little bit better out there in the open section, but with the sun out today and all these four-wheelers here, and man, the spectators, I just can't believe how many are coming back from the starting line, Jen.
You know, anytime you go into the town of Union, South Carolina, they say this is one of the biggest things that comes into this county, and right now we see Henry Turner. We've got lots of beauty queens. We have all kinds of festive things going on here at the Big Buck Farm. Like we said, this is one of the biggest things they have all year. They have the county fair, they have the state fair, and then they have GNCC racing, so they're excited to have us, I think.
Yeah, it's great. The whole town welcomes us in, and they all come out and support it, and they've got a beautiful place here, and the track's really good, and I think we've got some action, Jen, while we're commercial, some live action.
Absolutely. We've got an awesome new replay machine, and we have some things that we may have missed, so let's head over and catch some of that action. All right, wow. So what we just saw on our RacerTV.com screen is actually a replay from just a little bit earlier here on lap 1. We're only about 12 minutes into this one. We did see Adam McGill take that whole shot, and as we just saw in that instant replay, he's got quite a lead there, Fred, on the first lap. That's something we don't normally see this early in the race. Adam McGill, he's for real.
Yeah, he sure is, Jen. Right now he's out there, he got the start, and he's running, and that's usually not the way it happens here on these tracks. The first few laps, the guys kind of stay close, and the track kind of breaks in as the riders are all together. But Adam McGill's, you know, he's got 2 in a row now. He's for real, and he wants to get that lead and just run.
Like we say before, in the ATV side of things, you know, Chris Borch has been so dominant for so many years. Walker Fowler came in last year. They had a heck of a battle, but it seemed to kind of only be the 2 of them a lot of times. Adam McGill did get a win there, but as we see right now, he's just on another level. He is showing up to these races, and he wants to win. So it's a little bit of a mix-up than we've seen here in the pro ATV class, but we did see the number 6 of Bryson Neal. He was up there. Walker Fowler, I think, was running in the 3rd place position. A couple other guys, they were going kind of fast. We couldn't really catch names. We did see the number 1 of Chris Borch up there inside the top 5 or 6, so it is a close battle here on the first lap. But like we said, man, it's all led by the 5:21 of Adam McGill at this point.
Yeah, you know, Adam McGill's got a lot of confidence going. He's been riding really well, and he's been doing his homework all weekend long and all year, and he's come here today to prove another point. But, you know, it's still early right now. Those guys are kind of just legging up behind him, letting Adam break the trail, you know, because there's a lot of leaves, a lot of rocks and logs in the way, so Adam's going to have to push most of that stuff out of the way. And, you know, these guys could just be laying back to follow and see how it happens this first lap. And, you know, I expect to probably get a little closer. Adam may just, you know, after the first lap's done, the track's going to be even more broken, so he may be able to floor it and go a little harder, and these guys might even lose a little time. But I think, talk about Chris Borch a little bit. Last week he finally got that monkey off his back. He finished. He did good. He rode well. He wasn't 100% comfortable with the bike, but I'm sure they went home and made those little bit of tweaks that they needed to make. So his confidence is up, even though he didn't have the win like he would want or like we've been seeing in the last few years. I think a lot's going to happen for him today.
You know, talking with Chris Borch after that last race, like you said, he got that monkey off his back. He's got the 2 races that he did finish out of the 3. He's got a podium. He just had a bad race there at round 2 with a mechanical issue, but he's calm, cool, and collected. He's still learning. He's working on the bike, and like he said, each time that he shows up, he's like, all right, I think we've got some things figured out. I think we'll be okay. And, you know, it's always interesting to talk to somebody like him. He's a 6-time champion. He's very, very calm, and I think most of the hype comes from the rest of the people around him.
Yeah, Jen, you know, it's it's people around you that help build your career too. You know, they build the excitement, they get you up when you're feeling down, and his crew's never given up on him, and they're pushing him, you know, and you can do it. Well, Chris is, like you said, he's a 6-time champion, so we know he can, and he's not excited. He knows he has plenty of races to go yet this year for the championships, even close to being decided. So he's just going to put in some good solid rides and push his way to the top.
You know, a lot of people think Chris Borch, 6-time champion, he's got everything. He's got a giant crew, lots of people doing lots of things for him. When we went over there in the pit last round, he had his mom, his dad, his fiance Dawn, and maybe a couple buddies, and they were like, okay, we're trying to figure out how we're going to fuel him, work on his bike, put his goggles on, all those different things, and it's just interesting to see those dynamics when you go into the pits, and it's not the setup that we think it is out here. We're like, man, they're making stuff happen, but it's a bare bones crew this year in 2015 from the sounds of it, and those guys, there's a lot of dedicated members on his team, that's for sure.
Yeah, that, Jen, and also those guys know what they're doing, so you don't need a whole bunch of people. Sometimes more people you have, they get in the way when something, if it is a fire drill, you need people that know what they're doing to get in there and get it done, and that's what he's got. He's got the important people he needs there, and if something's going to happen and needs fixed, those guys can get it done for him. And man, you can look at the track right here, Jen. It looks really cool out here in all these big open fields. You got the nice grass growing, and be really good for spectating out here.
You know, Big Buck seems to be one of the favorite tracks for spectators, for racers, and everybody alike. So let's head over to Barry Hawk and check out what these guys are racing here at the Big Buck GNCC.
Hello everyone. We have almost a 13-mile track laid out here in South Carolina. The first real obstacle these guys are going to face is around the 3-mile marker. We have the FMF PowerPoint. It's a pretty steep uphill. We've never been on that section before, and it leads out of the, we call it the green bottom. It's just real nice topsoil down there. When they head up out of that bottom up the hill, there's a bunch of lines up that hill, but I think it may get interesting in there because what line you take one lap may not be so good the next lap. So I think that's going to be an interesting PowerPoint for the race. From there, the next real obstacle when they get to is around the 5-mile marker. It's a really tight pine section. There's really not a lot of lines in there, so if you catch a lapper in the right spot in there, you can actually gap a couple guys, or it could also hurt you. If you're behind and when you come into the lappers, and someone's in front of you, they can pull away. So that's another pretty important part of the track. Once they get through these pines, they're going to head down to the, it's called the FMF Creek Jump. When they get to that creek jump, they have the option to jump it or to go around it. If you go around it, there's a little creek crossing there. It's not very deep at all. Once they get through there, they're going to head out towards the 7-mile marker, head through the pro pits at the 8-mile marker, back down to the 9. When they get to the 10-mile marker, there's a rocky section there. It's really the only rocks we have on the track. Again, that's at the 10-mile marker. From there, they're going to get to the 11-mile marker. That's where I think probably one of the most interesting parts of the track is. There's 2 little creek crossings that look really good now, but by the end of the race, I think they're going to be chewed up. Once they get through those creek crossings, that's when they have the option to go up the hill. There's a really steep, rocky uphill, or they can go around it. If you go around it, it's probably about 10 to 15 seconds slower. So I think that's going to be a really important key to the race for those guys is getting up that hill clean. If you don't get up that hill clean, you got to go around. Those guys are going to get away from you. So from there, it's going to get up that hill, lead into the finish line. Beautiful weather, so hopefully everybody enjoys it and walks away with a smile on their face.
Well, thanks a lot, Barry Hart. And honestly, I think that everyone is walking away with a pretty big smile on our face today, whether you're racing or whether you're there in the first turn. What an exciting start to this race, and Adam McGill getting the early lead in this one, Fred Andrews, and man, he's picking up right where he left off. Still no friends on the racetrack, still one mission in mind, and that is to win.
Yeah, Rodney, you know, he came here, got the start again. He's in the lead. He's just going all out. He's going to prove a point that, you know, interesting. He said, I'm not getting any younger. If I'm going to be a champion, I got to make it happen, and that's what he's doing right now.
Exactly, and you know, it's funny what kind of fuels it takes to fire some of these guys up. For Adam, he has been, well, right there on the cusp of things for so many years. So finally, he just said, I'm getting on it, and I'm not getting off, man. You're going to have to knock me off. Here comes some of our XC2 Pro-Am riders checking in with us now. I'm not sure what mile marker we're at on this one, but we're certainly making some progress in both the XC1 and the XC2 divisions right now. We are as you can see, nearly 20 minutes into this race, and the intensity is already so high. These guys, well, obviously picking up where they left off, I think, intensity level-wise from North Carolina. Now, North Carolina, if you remember, Fred, a couple of weeks ago, we're back to what we call a tradition as far as the way the GNCC ATV guys roll on the first lap or two or three or so, and that's on a nose-to-tail basis, freight training through the woods. We saw that for the first time in North Carolina 2 weeks ago in a long, long time. The question is, are we going to recognize that happening again, or were enough people jumping around and discombobulated that round that they say it's time to make hay while the sun shines?
Yeah, it looked like Adam McGill had a little bit of a lead, maybe 5 or 6 seconds, and then second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, they were kind of together. So they had a little freight train, but it doesn't seem like Adam wants to be part of that freight train. He wants to be the engine that's away from the train. So it's going to be interesting to see if those guys closed up the gap any or not, Rodney. And you can see right here in these pictures here how good the dirt is. You know, we had a little bit of rain, like I said earlier in the week, so the woods are really nice. The dirt's good. You got some leaves in there, and you know, there's a lot of history. It's got the creek jumps. It's got some mud holes that really aren't mud holes until we start going through them. And then they got that nice big rocky uphill where all the spectators were at last year. So like Barry said on the announcement, you know, it can come down to that last lap, going through that little mud hole, getting up that rocky uphill clean to the finish line. So it's going to be a lot of good, exciting races. There's a lot of good spectator points here today.
At the 7-mile marker now, as we watch our leaders and leaders of other classes making their way through. Working on nearly 22 minutes. Our pros making their way through the pro pits now, and that was Adam McGill. We just caught a glimpse of. There goes the second place ride there, and that still looks like Bryson Neal, I believe. Back to the number 3 spot. Man, I tell you, watching that start, if you didn't catch the start off that earlier, there is Bithell there for the number 7 machine. There comes Chris Borge. I think that's 4th or 5th place for him now as he gets the wave of the towel, and a good solid start for him. But I haven't seen, have you seen, was that Walker Fowler that went by there just a moment ago in like 3rd place, or who was that? I don't see a lot of excitement coming out of those pits, and that might be Fowler right there.
Yeah, you know, Rodney, like you said, they were kind of looking ahead, still waiting for him. The Yamaha guys didn't look like they gave any pit boards, so maybe that was Walker right there. Had a little bit of trouble there on the first lap or something.
At the 8-mile markers where our pit is located, the pro pit area itself, as you can see, our first lap. Generally not a lot of happenings going on down there, just folks there in case a person would need a pair of goggles, need a quick wrench or something like that. But for the most part, it's a go, go, go situation. You're doing good, keep it up. You got that many seconds to make up. You got that many seconds ahead of that guy, whatever the case may be. It's just kind of setting the stage here in this first lap, and that's what they're feeling right now as well.
Yeah, you know, Rodney, like right there, it's just a little bit of encouragement when you're coming by. You're getting that first lap over with. You kind of got your butterflies out of your stomach because no matter who you are when you go to the start line, if you're not excited to be there, you probably shouldn't be. So I know when I raced, I was all excited. When I came through the pit area the first lap, you know, you see your pit crew, they're excited, they're rooting you on, and it gives you a little bit of extra energy there to get going. And right now, you know, if you got somebody's got a little bit of trouble, but like you said, that would probably be the only reason why you'd want to stop the first lap. There's no reason to stop for gas or goggles or anything like that unless you had a trouble. And
yeah,
all our top guys made it through good. And, you know, if that was Walker Fowler in the back a little bit, you know, he's got a little bit of work cut out for him, but it's nothing that, you know, he's not had happened to him before. So it's going to be interesting.
It will be, and it'll make for an interesting race day from a fan standpoint, I think, to see any of these guys that are starting out. Sounds like Jake Kenyon may be a little hot but ready for us right now. Jim, what's going on? I think her microphone's turned up way loud right now, so as soon as she gets a handle on that, she'll be back with us to give us a report on exactly what is going on right now, Fred. But
if you remember last race, Rodney, we had a lot of excitement in the ATV race for a change. You know, the pro class, those guys were nose to tail, and you and I both sat here, and we didn't even know who was going to win. There's so many people came to the finish line, we couldn't see it. So that was a really exciting race for me today, and I hope today's like that one.
I agree with you. I mean, it's days like that really – from a announcing standpoint and a race fan standpoint, make it certainly a lot easier to get out of bed. Not that it's hard at all, but whenever you got races like that, it makes it even easier to get out of bed in anticipation of something like that possibly happening today. And that's the great thing about the South Carolina. This is one of those tracks where anything really can happen, and it's not because that there's these gnarly, and there are a couple of obstacles out there that are get somewhat gnarly, but it's not necessarily because the culmination of that. I think it's more along the lines as this is one of those racetracks where everybody can feel comfortable. Conditions are perfect today. Weather is perfect, you know, temperature-wise right now, and the track itself, and nothing really huge or monumental that is going to take anybody out of it. So these guys all feel strong. They all put on a strong race, and riders that normally don't do well here on a day like today.
Yeah, right, and I think it might have to do with, you know, we've been here for a few years, so everybody kind of knows the terrain. They know what to expect, and they know what to look for. And once you get hooked up with some good riders out there, it makes it a lot easier also. And they're probably running nose to tail, just kind of having fun and flowing with this track. This track has a really good flow through it, and that helps out a lot too. You know, their arms don't get tight and your arms don't pump up, and it's going to be exciting with these guys just racing to win. And if they can get up there with Adam McGill, or if Adam's going to put a little bit of time on them, but you know, it's a long day, and it might be interesting how long to see the lap times are. 25 minutes into it, so I'm not sure if they've gone through the finish yet. So if we're looking for 30-minute lap times, that's a pretty long lap.
Yeah, we're getting on par with that. We had 30 minutes this morning with our amateur ATVs. I think they may have added a little bit more onto the track itself. So we might, like you say, be right in that 30-minute range, to be honest with you. As the race gets underway, I want to remind you folks, don't forget about our AMSOIL Twitter contest where you could win $250 in AMSOIL product. Tweet your podium finish predictions to hashtag GNCC Live for a chance to win that, and winner will be chosen randomly. You don't have to be correct, but you got to hashtag GNCC Live to play along, and we'll announce the winner later on in the program and give you an opportunity to get your product. So early congratulations to whoever wins that one, but more importantly.
And the cool thing is, Rodney, you don't have to be perfect to win.
No,
all you have to do is just play.
You don't even have to be in the ballpark, man. But you know, the amazing thing, last race, someone tweeted, I believe on Sunday's bike race at 12:15, got the podium correct, and that was at 12:15, long before the race even started.
Wow.
And won $250 in AMSOIL product. That was pretty amazing, I thought myself. But right now we're watching the 8-mile marker. I'm going to have to get a full length on this. I'm thinking we're 10, 11 miles on the length in the track. If that's the case, that could explain why we're going to be pushing close to that 30-minute mark, because at the 25-minute mark, 24-minute mark, these guys had just made it to the pro pit area. And I think this is really probably a faster track than what we've been accustomed to so far this season.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a lot faster, and, you know, mostly we've had some mud and some slipperiness and some rain, and now this track's in perfect condition, and it's got some nice big fields in the woods. Like I said, I think this track really flows well for a four-wheeler, so I expect the times to be a lot faster, but also the track, I think, was like 13 miles long, Barry said, so it's a pretty long track.
Wow, 13 miles. I didn't catch that part of it, but wow. So 8 miles, that's another 5 miles these guys have got to put on at an average of what? 2.5, 3 minutes a mile. So that's going to be quite a few minutes. That'll give us a chance to reflect right now. Fred, former GNCC motorcycle champion of our nation, of course, in this series. Fred, 19 years we've been coming here. This is our 19th running of this Big Buck GNCC, and I know that this was part of the circuit in your tenure. What was it like whenever you first came here the first time you remember?
Well, actually, Rodney, this is the very last GNCC race I ever won here at Big Buck.
Really?
So this place has a lot of meaning to me. Also with the Turners, Hank and Henry, become really good friends with them over the years. I've came down here and I've gone deer hunting, I've gone turkey hunting here, so I know this property pretty well, and it's really cool to be able to come back here every year and see them and all that. But the track's got a little bit of everything, like you said, Rodney. It's got some rocks, it's got some creeks, it's got some jumps, it's got some uphills, it's got some fast fields, it's got some nice grass turns, it's got a tight pine wood section. So this track really has a lot of everything, and it's the first track that we have that's kind of sets the pace for the year, because like North Carolina's got some big uphills, some big downhills, and normally we don't have those big hills, but this is kind of the way it is the rest of the year, and I was always excited to come here. I only won one time. Another time I was winning, and Shane Watts was behind me the last lap, and I fell on one of the bridges 2 miles before the finish. So, you know, they got some bridges out here you got to watch out for. And look, here comes Adam McGill right now leading. He's coming, looks like through some new section just at the 11-mile marker, and it's looked like he's putting some time on those guys.
It is, man. I mean, we're talking probably a good 8-10 seconds or better there, as couldn't see that number. I wasn't sure if that was Fowler or not.
Yeah, it looks like a Yamaha. Maybe it was Walker. I'm not sure either. But
I thought Walker was a little further back, but we know that he's had plenty of time to work up. There's Sneaky Snake, Jared McClure making his way through on the number 4 machine there. So really, right now, the comfort zone does belong to Adam McGill. We've seen this comfort zone. We saw it the first race, as a matter of fact, when he was leading by nearly 40 seconds, when Walker Fowler was able to somehow or another dig deep and find a way to take the win away.
You know, and I don't think these guys need to let him get that big of a lead here in the first lap. With the confidence he's got going, the way things have been going for Adam McGill's way, you know, he's dangerous.
They cannot afford it. You're absolutely right. He is very dangerous. At the 11-mile marker, near that 11-mile marker, near a 13-mile race, we're going to be looking at probably a 35, 36-minute race. There was the number 2, was it not? I swear I've seen that as the number 2. I wish I could go back and look at that one more time, but that, I don't know. That's getting kind of wild, man, because we're seeing a lot of what appears, at least at the moment, a lot of jumbling up with our leaders in this XC1 Pro class.
Yeah, you know, it looks like this section here is one of the new sections that Barry put in. It looks like it's really virgin terrain there. You know, there's no ruts, there's no nothing. It's just nice flat ground with some logs and some leaves on it. So it looks like Barry and the crew did a really good job here in making us some fresh terrain here.
Most definitely, as that, I believe, is our leader in the XC2 Pro-Am class, just checking in. I believe that's still Cole Richardson, if I'm not mistaken. Infab Am Pro Yamaha team member of Walker Fowler back there off of row number 2. Nearly 32 minutes into this one now.
You know, Ron, and with the lap times being so long like this, it's going to make for an interesting pit strategy. You know, they're 31 minutes into it now, so, I mean, if we're 34, 35 minutes into it, I mean, you're going to have to go back to the pit area and figure out, hey, we came by and it was this time, so now we got to pit there at this time, and there's a lot of adding up going on.
Somebody better be good with a calculator or figuring it in their head. Somebody that's really good about figuring it in their head, our own Jenny on the spot, Jen Kenyon. Jen, what's going on? I know that we are catching glimpses of these guys. Our top 5, though, man, what's going on out there right now?
Yeah, you know, Rodney, we just saw those guys come through the 11-mile marker. It was kind of hard to tell who was who, but Adam McGill obviously is in the win. Walker Fowler is in the second place position. Bryson Neal, Chris Bithell, and Jared McClure is rounding out the top 5. So currently that's our top 5. We did see Chris Borge come in a few spots after that, so I would say maybe 7th or 8th position.
Wow.
But they're all pretty close here on this first lap.
Most definitely. They're not getting out in the head, that's for sure. This guy is. McGill is on rails right now. Watch that machine roll there as he has got it dialed in. The Cuz America. Hashtag Cuz America. That's why. It makes sense, man. First lap down, 12-mile marker, nearly 13 miles. And first lap is a total of 5 hours, 59 minutes, 55 seconds. Evidently, something's not right. Oh, we're a month off. That's why it is. Kind of computer's off. But regardless, it looks like I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of a 33-minute lap time.
Yep, 33.
We'll advance 1 month here. See if we can get up to April 11th.
And it looks like we got a battle going on here, Rodney, right now for a 3rd and 4th, and these guys are bumping wheel to wheel and bumping bumper to bumper here as they head off there out of sight. That was some pretty cool action there. Those guys weren't giving an inch.
All right, how about No, still 5 hours, 59 minutes. I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, we're going to say about 33 minutes there on that first lap for Adam McGill. Walker Fowler is second. I don't know what happened and what we saw over in the pits a little bit ago. But Fowler is second. Bryson Neal is now dropped back to third. He was running in the number 2 spot. Chris Bithell is up to 4th. So there has been some changes since we saw them there in the pits a few moments ago, because if you remember, Bithell was a little further back than that. Jared McClure is running 5th right now. Chris Borch in 6th. Brian Wolf in 7th. Landon Wolf, no relation, in the number 8 spot. Josh Merritt, the number 13, in 9th. And Braden Henthorn rounds out your top 10 aboard the number 934. By the way, Josh Merritt, I believe it's his sister, and I don't know if it's big sister or baby sister, but she's a female WXC racer in that women's class. And I ran into those guys about 2 o'clock in the morning in Elkins, West Virginia, on the way down here the other night. They travel late like the rest of us, I guess. Well, I'll tell you what, we got 1 lap down right now. We're 35 minutes into this race now, Fred Andrews, and we have got ourselves, the stage set for what could be another mouth-dropping finish for the 2015 XC1 GNCC ATV Pros. And we're going to see how it all pans out as time wears on, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Broadcast is brought to you by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. By Rocky Mountain ATV MC, get ready. By Maxxis Tires, find your flow. And powered by Yamaha Generators.
And welcome back here to Union, South Carolina for round 4 of the AMSOIL GNCC series. This is the VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC. Rodney Tomlin along with Fred Andrews and our own Jenny on the spot for one final performance, it looks like. I hate that. I hate saying that, but unfortunately it looks like Jen may be moving on to bigger and better things, and like there is anything bigger and better. But anyway, it's good to see her back out with us again today, and it's good to see that we have got great battle going on right now. 7.6 seconds was the gap between first and second between McGill and Fowler, and only 1.6 back to Bryson Neal. Chris Bithell was 4th. He was 0.3 of a second back. And Jared McClure, there's where the big gap was, 12.6 seconds, and then another 10 seconds back to Chris Borch, who was running in 6th. So Chris right now has got at least 23 seconds to make up to get to 4th place right now, and also basically within the 3rd place position and striking distance of a podium. So looking at it from the standpoint of the champ, it's not a horrible situation to be in. It's just not one that we're traditionally used to seeing him in at this juncture in the race and this juncture of the season. At the 2-mile marker, still looks like the 5:21 of Adam McGill leading Walker Fowler. And Fred, what's the gap looking like right now?
Rodney, it looked like Adam McGill stretched it up to just about 13 seconds right there. So it looks like he's really putting his head down and concentrating on what he needs to do to get a little bit more time in between him and the rest of the crew. Wow.
I tell you, talking to Adam McGill this year, I know we keep harping on this and we keep talking about it, but he's such a different person here in 2015, and not so much different that his personality has changed, but so much different in that basically the confidence and the way that he carries himself. And it's a natural magnet, man, and I think that's what we're seeing take place right now. The normal average American Joe is doing well against all odds, so to speak, of the great Chris Borch and Walker Fowler and all those guys. And you know, the everyman, so to speak, is really starting to pick up on this, and it looks like that, you know, all the harping about the family and talking about the mafia and how strong and how tight it is, it's all coming to fruition for Adam McGill, because now he's got one of the biggest forces on the racetrack, and that, I think, overshadows any factory involvement I've ever seen, man. Whenever you get nearly every fan, or at least hundreds of fans, lining the racetrack on your side, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure, Rodney. When you're out on the track and people are rooting you on everywhere you go, you don't ever want to try to sit there and rest. You're afraid one of your fans is going to see you dogging it. So you're out there flooring it the whole time. And, you know, Adam McGill, he always has been there, but never really was a threat to win the whole year. You know, he could win in any race, but everybody, he was kind of like hot and cold. Well, this year he's changed that whole situation. He's come in the first race showing he meant business, the second race, the third race, and here he is today. He's leading again. So whatever he's done to change his mind, whether it is because he's getting older and he's only got so much time to win, or they finally got the bike perfect, or just, you know, everything's lining up perfect for him. So, you know, he's doing a great job this year, and these guys are all chasing after him, wondering, man, what did Adam do? I want to do that.
But, you know, we see those steps quite often, and that's the way a lot of those happen. You see those guys that ride there on the cusp, and, you know, you hype it up, and you talk about it, you hype it up for so long, and all of a sudden, you know, you think, okay, this guy's going to be the next big thing. He's going to be the next big thing. He's going to be the next big thing. Where's he at? Where's he at? Where's he at? And then you just kind of like, okay, well, maybe I was wrong about that. And then all of a sudden you get this new life in it like this, and it reinvigorates the whole scene and idea. And Adam has been touted to be one of the next big things since his Pro-Am racing days way back when he actually finished an overall podium when he was still in high school and going to the prom that night. It was one of the John Penn races. I don't know if you recall that or not, Fred, but he was on the podium, I think finished second or third overall, and then had to leave immediately from the podium and go to the prom that night.
Wow. No, I didn't realize that. But I think, too, confidence is a big thing. You know, Adam McGill always knew he could do it, but when those races when he thought he knew he could do it, something would happen and he wouldn't do it. Well, this year he came into it knowing he could do it, and he almost won the first round. Then he did win the second round, so his confidence, I mean, that's the whole key to the situation. Even if you are the best rider out there, if you don't think in yourself that you can win, or your pit crew doesn't believe in you, you're never going to win. If you can't picture yourself winning, you're not going to. And right now he's picturing himself doing that, and that's what he's doing.
Looks to me like that Adam McGill has taken nothing but winning photos and posted them around everywhere in his life. So everywhere he looks, he sees himself in the center of the block and expects, and that's where he's supposed to be, and I'll tell you, that's exactly the way he's riding right now. Let's check in with a couple of these other classes real quick just to give you an idea of what's going on. Let's give you XC1 and XC2 top 10s real quick. Adam McGill, Walker Fowler, Bryson Neal, Chris Bithell, Jared McClure, top 5. Chris Borge was 6th, Brian Wolf 7th, 8th, Landon Wolf, Josh Merritt 9th, Braden Henthorn rounding out the top 10. XC2 Pro-Am, Cole Richardson leading 38 seconds over Blake Tornes. Tornes on the number 31. A.J. Kuntz, the 45, or Tommy Kuntz, a lot of folks know him by, but A.J. out of Fayetteville, PA is 3rd. The 201, Cody Collier, former top youth standout and morning race standout. Cody Collier in 4th. Mike Lancaster rounding out the top 5. Jen Kenyon, what's going on? I hear Jen in the background, or maybe it's that I hear. But anyway, Randy Hamilton running in the number 6 spot, aboard the number 20. In 7th place, Marty Christopherson, the number 18. 8th place, the number 899 of Jake Stonebreaker. 9th place, the 223, Bryson Hops. Rounding out the top 10 XC2 Pro-Am is going to be James Green. College A real quick, Wes Wolf. Wow, good to see that kid up front. Wesley's been touted as one of the up-and-coming specialists as well, moving up from the schoolboy class from last year. Wolf leading the College A class today by 42 seconds over Stephen Michael Cunningham. Austin Abney in the number 3 spot. Christian Meyer is 4th. Kenny Schick rounding out your top 5. Junior A class, Dwight Pollard, he got the whole shot in that one out of Clayton, Georgia. Got almost a 10-second lead over the 702 of Stevie Colbert. 3rd place is Josh Beach. 4th place, the 913 Dustin Piggott, and Brent Henke, the 896, rounds out the top 5. Vet A class, Matt Pierce leading Brandon Summers. Now I want you to look at this Vet A 28 plus class. How many former XC1 Pro class riders do we have in this class, or at least XC1 or XC2? Matt Pierce, top end XC2 rider for a while. XC1 rider Brandon Summers. Matt Hanna, also a top XC2 rider. Todd Demery, top XC1 rider. I see that actually Brian Cook was signed up. He hasn't checked in with this lap complete, but Brian Cook from Kezar, North Carolina, former top XC1 Pro Class rider, also signed up in this vet A30 or 28 plus class, so that's pretty impressive. But Matt Pierce, Brandon Summers, Matt Hanna, Tom Barrett, and Dustin Hendershot are your top 5 in that one. And by the way, really good to see Brandon Summers, the 784, out racing today, as today is a tragic anniversary. Many of you might remember a year ago, yesterday on the 11th was a year ago in 2014, 2015 it is today, but a year ago we got the sad news that Laz and Marianne Summers on a flight that they were flying themselves down from Ohio to this Big Buck GNCC, ran into some bad weather and their plane went down, and unfortunately we lost those two that day. And it has been a kind of left a big hole as far as the GNCC Racing Nation is concerned, and we had a chance to honor them this morning with a moment of silence, releasing of the balloons. Blake Churden rode one of the last bikes that Laz actually helped build in this morning's race, and then of course Brandon obviously out there racing this afternoon. So a great tribute to a great man, Laz Summers from GT Thunder. His presence is sorely missed, he and both Marianne. Senior 8B 38 plus class we're taking a look at now. John Glotta, Mark Batson running 1 and 2, 13 seconds separating those two. Glotta, I believe, has a son named John that nearly won that youth race earlier today. Mark Batson from our good friends over at Media All-Stars running second, Rusty Repass third, Aaron Delancey fourth, and Lane Coyle rounds out your top 5 senior 8B 38 plus class, and Jen Kenyon standing by with an update.
That's right, Rodney, down here in VP Racing Fuels Pro Row. We don't have any action just yet, but I did get word that some things are going on with Cole Richardson's machine out there. It might be a front shock issue, so we are anticipating Cole coming into the AmPro Yamaha pits to make some adjustments. We're going to keep an eye on that. And also we got word Jay Shadron, if you see him on the cameras and it looks like he's going a little bit slower than usual, he probably is. It sounds like he might have hit a tree and hurt his shoulder a little bit. He came through his pits and his dad said, hey, if you're not feeling it, it's okay. And he's like, nope, I'm going back out there. So he's a little bit slower, but he might have a few issues there with his shoulder.
Well, that's a tough break for a kid. Thank you, Jen. Very, very good update there. That's a tough break for Jay Shadron, man, because, man, this kid, talk about a wave he's riding on. And hopefully it's not something that's going to knock the wind out of his sails, so to speak, because riding on that wave of confidence and continued success from last season into this season right now, a top 5 rider as a sophomore in the XC1 Pro class. He was on podium last time, was leading at certain points during the race. I mean, the kid literally has seen the switches been flipping race after race, and to see his misfortunes today is really a big heartbreaker, Fred.
Yeah, you know it is, Rodney, and the good thing is right there, it showed him that no, Dad, I don't want to quit. I'm going to ride through this. I'm going to keep on going. So even though it's hurting, he doesn't want to quit. He knows that he needs to be out there gaining some points and looking at the big picture for the championship. So it's good to see he's got the heart for it and he wants to keep on going.
As a sponsor, you know you have to really commend him for that. I mean, if he was running my products and was determined to get out there and stay out there like that, I know that I would say that my money was well spent on a rider like that.
Yeah, Rodney, because you know there's never a guy out there that's not riding a little bit hurt. You know, nobody can be injury-free, and when you are hurt, that really shows a true champion, a guy that can ride through the pain because he's given everything he's got just for this 2-hour race, and then he can rest, you know, for 2 weeks just to keep on getting some points for you.
Well, right now we're watching out near the 7-mile marker. There goes Walker Fowler still in that number 2 spot. We saw McGill going through there just a moment ago. Look at that. Chris Bithell, man on a mission, man. He is fired up, man. I got to say, he's a little bit angry right now, I think, and I don't know necessarily what. Well, I have a pretty good idea. There's the number 6 of Bryson Neal in the number 4 spot, and the number 5 spot rounding the way. That's the number 4 of Sneaky Snake. He said the grass is oh, mercy,
caught
sakes
that
alive.
tree.
Man, Sneaky Snake found out what it's like to be have something jump up and bite him like that. That'd be something to check out there. But, man, just clip that tree. And that's the disadvantage of riding one of these wide four-wheelers through the woods.
Yeah, Ron, it almost looks like the tree got in between the tire and the main rear end of the quad there. It caught that up there, and it's like it just rode straight up the tree. And, man, he's lucky it didn't go all the way over. Lucky that tree was a little bit small, but, man, that caught him, and that was quick.
No doubt, and he turned it around just as quickly and right back on it. But old Sneaky Snake, as we were saying, man, was talking about this would be a good place to sneak one in, and he's riding in position to make that happen. That's for sure right now. Was that running in that number 6 spot? I believe Borich was there. That was Brian Wolf, I believe, that moved up. Did you see Borich go through there? I
thought that was the guy who was right behind that second guy in that group. I thought
Okay.
I saw number 1 on him.
All right, I didn't quite see the number 1, wasn't 100% sure, but I was wanting to make sure that was Brian Wolf, so that was Borich right behind him. So it looks like Wolf has taken over 6. Chris Borich has taken over 7th. And wow, when's the last time you heard about Chris Borich jockeying for positions outside the top 5 right now?
I don't know, Rodney. You must have run into some trouble today out there, or just got a bad start. You know, this track has got a lot of different lines, a lot of places you could try to pass, so maybe he made a little mistake and went one way or the other. But yeah, it's definitely unusual to see Chris Borich back there fighting for that position.
Yes, it most certainly is. But the great thing about it is he's fighting. And as long as he continues to fight like that, we know that the champ has got it going on in there. And here comes, that was, what was that, 934. That might have been Henthorn going through there that time. That
but it does show you, too, also, Rodney, how fast all these guys are, you know?
Yeah.
If Chris Borich isn't having that perfect day, he's not riding to where 100%, well, these other guys are, and they're right there. So he's really got to...
And that's a step up, too, if you look at the past. Back used to a few years ago, even on Chris Borich's off days, a lot of guys still couldn't match that speed. So that means to tell me that the entire class, the level of competition has certainly stepped up, and it's obvious this year with each and every round. And, you know, call it bright brand switch, call it what you want. I don't think that has anything at all to do with it. I just think that's just the nature of the beast, regardless of what he was riding this year. He was going to have any struggles that may be coming his way. There is the 16 of Johnny Gallagher, old Johnny GNCC himself. Be sitting in your chair tomorrow there, Fred, and good to see him still out doing it. 30 years as a GNCC racer, 20 of those years spent as a pro racer. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, you know, Ronnie, that just shows you why he's out here. He knows he could get a podium if everything works out well and he gets a little bit of luck, but he's doing this because he loves to ride his quad. He loves being out here. This is his family. This is what he's used to doing every Sunday, coming out and joining it with his with his friends. And, you know, we're a big family out here, and it's part of why he's still going. And like you say, he'll be in the announcer booth tomorrow having fun and talking about his motorcycle friends.
Leaders due in about 14 minutes or so, and we were talking about the ferocity that we're watching Chris Bithell ride with now aboard that number 7 Suzuki as our leaders now making their way into the pits. There is the Mafia leader, if you will, the family Dom. That is Adam McGill, and Pops is filling them up in and out. No real pressure. Did he even get a fresh drink? I think he did get a fresh drink, maybe. What about Goggles?
And as you can see, right as he was pulling out, I thought, man, Walker's not going to guess, but Walker eased his way in there just like NASCAR, you know, pulling your pit stall and off they go.
Well, it looks like third place is, well, Neal and, there goes Bithell. Bithell's a one-man band, and, something's going on with Chris Bithell right now. There it gets fired back up. That thing's stalled out. Little story about Chris Bithell. And I told you he was riding with a fire, and he had some fuel in that one as we see the Sneaky Snake in there now. Fresh pair of goggles for him. No fresh juice. He's got his Camelback right there. It's if he needs a drink, he can grab that straw and get him a quick drink. So, man, these guys seem to be on pace right now. But we were talking about Chris Bithell, the fire that he's riding with. And, you know, Chris Bithell was one of the first and one of the final full-on factories, what we call factory GNCC ATV racers, where they brought the full-on semis and had a team built completely around them. He was the Warnett Racing factory Can-Am racer, and actually was teammates even with Adam McGill for a short stint there, a couple of years or so. In that program, as more riders checking in here now.
Brian
Wolf in getting some fuel. Annie, his wife, helping him out there along with his pit crew. And, of course, so Chris Bithell, a top factory rider about 3 years ago. Well, obviously, all his support got pulled, not because of him, but just because the program went away like they did on so many other programs, and he was left to scramble. And he has been doing just that. And, you know, Chris said today he just recently had to go get a real 9-to-5 job, worked half a day yesterday, and then came here to the GNCC to go racing. He says, I build my own practice bikes, I build my own race bikes. I work on everything. You know, he has great support from his sponsors and so forth. But he says, basically, I'm a one-man band. I'm the guy that washes it. I'm the guy that fixes it. I'm the guy that rides it and tears it up. So this guy's went from one extreme to the other, and to see him doing it with success is pretty impressive. And again, you know, we recognize that out of Adam McGill. So does Chris, and it frustrates him. So he's trying to do the same thing, I think. He's trying to realize that, hey, you don't need all that support to do well. All you need is the heart. And that's what we're seeing start to build there in Chris Bithell, just like in Adam McGill.
Yeah, right now, I mean, you got to have the heart for sure for one thing, and you just need the tools, you know. No matter how many people you have in the pits, it's not going to make you ride or make you do any better. So if you want it, you're going to do better. And I think when Chris Bithell took out of the pit right there, right, and I think they probably got a little bit of gas over the top, and it kind of got on the spark plug, and it kind of tries to make the bike kind of load up a little bit because then he took off. So they may have just spilled a little bit of fuel over top of it.
Well, whatever the case may be, he got a little bit of a quickened heart rate. There's no doubt about it. And, you know, while watching this race and seeing this beautiful sunshine, you know, this morning we started out temperature 60 degrees, nice little overcast morning. Beautiful, beautiful way to start the 19th running of the Big Buck GNCC. And we do it, as we always do on Saturday mornings, with our youth ATV racers. Coming into this one, a whole onslaught. And that's Jay Shadron standing. Is that not? Or no? But anyway, no, it's not. We got a whole, you know, bunch of these kids that come out there, and there's several of them that are capable of taking a win. And each and every race, we seem to be on the edge of our seat, biting our nails, and whenever the checker finally comes out, for the fourth race in a row, Rocket Ronnie Rush pulls off another win.
That's right, Rodney. He does it again. Ronnie Rush, congratulations. 4 in a row. What a way to start the season.
Yeah, I wasn't definitely not expecting that. I was expecting Georgia, and probably that's it, because that's my kind of track, Georgia.
All right, we'll talk about this track out there.
The lappers and people in your class, but I got behind the lappers, but I could just fly past them.
All right, so having the first 4 wins under your belt, does it give you a little bit of pressure heading into the 5th round? Are you feeling good?
I'm feeling good. I know I'm sitting in a really good spot, so I just want to keep on going and see how far I can get, but if not, then oh well.
All right, well, congratulations. Good way to start the season.
Thanks.
Wow, almost like a seasoned veteran, Fred. I mean, watching that listening to that interview, that's a 10, 12-year-old, 12, 13-year-old kid. He might be 14, but regardless, that's a kid.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're talking to a full-on amateur that's, well, he has been doing it all of his life just about, I guess, huh?
Yeah, it sounds like he's got 100 races under his belt, and he just takes it as it is and doesn't really get excited about it. But the cool thing is, Ronnie, it's all the youth ATVs that we're getting, so that's just showing how much our sport's still growing.
It is.
You know, these guys are our future champions, and there's a big pool coming up, so we're never going to run out of riders.
No, we're not. And the waves are coming. They're coming in waves. Walker Fowler led it. Now the second onslaught of waves is Braden Henthorne. Then you got Bryson Neal, and you got Jay Shadron and those guys, man. I mean, Landon Wolf, Josh Merritt. I mean, those guys are all coming, and they all are coming with one thing in mind, and that's stepping up and being a part of the action. And they've always been used to being a part of the action. Whether or not they could win consistently, they knew they were capable of winning, so they went out and rode and fought like that each and every week and brought the level of competition and their level up to newer and greater heights, I believe, as far as racing is concerned. Back over in the pits, we heard that there might be some issues for Cole Richardson, and that is exactly what we are witnessing here right now inside the pro pits at the Infab and Pro Yamaha pits, and it looks like Cole is off the bike. One thing to say is that he is rather calm, cool, and collected. I know that he has a lot of at stake as far as the overall is concerned, and his overall numbering for the 2015 season, where he wants to stand as far as the overall is concerned, as well as winning the XC2 Pro Am class. But right now, he's better be focusing on just finishing this race from the way things are looking. They made some adjustment, it looks like, on it, and guess what? He's focused.
Yeah, right. It looks like they changed one of the front shocks. I think they had 2 of them laying. I'm not sure whether they did both the right and the left side, but they definitely changed the left side. And you know, you could see him standing there. He really wasn't in a panic. He knows if he gets excited and starts yelling and screaming that his pit crew is going to get excited and things aren't going to happen the way they're supposed to. So he just stood there, took his time. They took their time, got him going. He knows everything's tight, and off he went.
Well, off he goes, and we'll see whether or not he's able to maintain a good pace and keep, well, let's see. If we look back to the position here, Cole Richardson had a 38-second lead at the end of the first lap, and I know that it probably took close to a minute and a half. So he's probably dropped back a couple, three. He might be back as far as 4th place right now, looking at the timing and scoring, and maybe even as back as far as 5th place. But I'm going to expect that Cole is going to surprise us on this lap.
Yeah, you know, Cole's been winning in his class by a pretty good margin, so he's got confidence going on. So, you know, I don't think he's really worried about being where he's at right now. I know he knows he can still win the class, so he's just going to start picking guys off one at a time and see if he can't get his way back up to the front. And we got Adam McGill here coming through the woods again. It looks like the 11-mile marker.
Be in the finish line in about 6 minutes or so. 1 hour mark is where we're at now, just over the 1 hour mark. And Fred,
and it looks like Rodney, that Walker's got down to about 8 seconds right there. So, you know, it's give or take 2 seconds here or there. That could be just a lap rider ahead of you having to wait till he can clear the track so you can pass him, or maybe, you know, Walker's found a little bit smoother liner, but, you know, 2 seconds really isn't a lot to be given up out there.
No, it isn't. We see Bithell go by. We see Henthorn going by. And now back to, I believe this would be the number 5 spot. Jared McClure still holding on to that one, even after hitting that tree out there a few minutes ago. I mean, he hasn't lost a lot of time. At the finish, he was 12.6 seconds back, and he's not much more than that if he's any further than that back right now.
No, he's, you know, a little sneaky snake was trying to climb up that tree like a snake or something. I don't know, but it was exciting. You know, that may even just sparked him up right there.
Yeah.
You know, he got that mistake and shook him loose, and off he's going, because right now he's got a pretty nice lead.
No doubt. As we look at our overall, just an FYI, Cole Richardson, who is 10th overall, was leading the XC2 Pro-Am class. We'll see in just a few moments whether or not that timing adjustment is going to hold. We're about 4.5 minutes or so from seeing our second lap complete here. At just over the 1 hour mark. Man, you start doing math right here. You're looking at this 33-minute lap times, Fred. And you start doing the math. Okay, you go 2 is an hour and 6 minutes. 3 an hour and 30 whatever minutes, 39 minutes or whatever, 37 minutes. And then you say, wow, that's getting close to that 145 mark, but it's not close enough. So we're going to have to go another lap, add another 33 minutes onto that, and now all of a sudden we're looking at about 2 hours, 10 minutes, 2 hours, 12 minutes possibly that we could see this race go. And, you know, you say, well, that's not a big deal. 12 minutes, that's not a whole lot. But, no, really it can be, and it is, especially on a day like today. It's the hottest day that we've seen so far in our racing. And
the track's really rough out there, Rodney.
It is.
We can't see it from this nice new version part they put in, but this track is rough. It gets really choppy and square edge bumps, and you can't get away from them. You just got to floor it through them, and it definitely takes a toll on you. No matter how good your bike's working, and you're giving it like these guys are doing out there today, Rodney, they're going to be a little bit tired.
They are, and that is just another one of the obstacles that you're going to have to face out there. The fact of the track and getting tired and all that. And right now, still at the 11-mile marker, we're seeing some other riders check in here, but I am now looking at just at 3 minutes for McGill to check in the number 1 spot, and there he rolls now through this big field section back here, just coming up on the start line itself, or finish line itself. If I'm not mistaken, that kind of looks like maybe that old start field section over there, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe not, but yes, it is the old start, leading to the finish line right now, and Adam McGill's set to wrap up lap 2.
And it looks like Walker Fowers actually closed up some more time on him here on the infield. I'm not sure it's going to be that 7 or 8 seconds. And I noticed Adam McGill coming through the infield section there, riding. He's just looking straight ahead. He's not looking for Walker anywhere, so he can feel the heat and knows that he needs to focus on what's ahead of him and not behind him.
He better focus on something, because 4.3 seconds behind him is Walker Fowler right now. Lap time, 30 minutes, 55 seconds. So we've seen this one speed up quite a bit in comparison to the first lap. I think the first lap might have been a little longer. 30:52 for Walker Fowler, and again, 4.3 seconds back. Chris Bithell, 16 seconds back in third. Bryson Neal, 3 seconds back more in the number 4 spot, and the 12.6 seconds. Let's see if it's still in that range after Sneaky Snake climbed the tree out there. 15 seconds. So in reality, after climbing that tree, making the big loop out there, he only lost 3 seconds. So you got to wonder, had that mistake not happened,
yeah, he was rolling.
He was rolling. He might have actually closed up some time on that lap. So don't be surprised if you see some big moves and some shakeups here out of Sneaky Snake coming up before this race is all said and done. I think there he goes right there back in the woods. He is going to have something to show us, I believe.
Yeah, Ronnie, and I'm surprised right now, we're looking at the times coming in, and it doesn't seem like Chris Borch is really moving forward very much. He's kind of just staying right where he's at, so maybe, they didn't get the setup that they thought they were going to get for this race.
Well, we look at 10 seconds the lap before that Chris Borch was behind Jared McClure. Uh-oh. We got Jay Shadron over in the pits there. We'd heard that there were some issues for him, and there is the battle in the, I believe that's the battle for 6. Chris Borch and Brian Wolf. Now, 0.8 of a second separating those two. They're 58 seconds behind McClure. When's the last time? I made this statement a few minutes ago. When have we ever seen Chris Borch have to battle for a 6th place position? That is the new era in GNCC racing. I'm telling you, folks, there are new things, big things happening. It's not just hype. It is truth, and we're witnessing it right here. Jen Kenyon standing by down in the pits, got an update with Jay Shadron. What's going on, Jen?
That's right. Jay, this is not the place I want to be talking to you, but tell us what's going on out there. It sounds like you might have hit a tree.
Yeah, I was blowing a corner and got up on 2 wheels, and just my shoulder took all the force, and can't really pick my arm up.
Yeah, your dad said that when you came through the first time. He said, hey, if you're not feeling it, you can pull in. And you said, no way, I'm going. But for you to be here in the pits, you must be in a lot of pain.
Yeah, I can't do it.
All right, well, we wish you the best. I was about to pat him on the shoulder, but that's not a good thing. Tough break for Jay Shadron. He'd had such a great start to the 2015 season.
And it's not over yet, Jen. I know that we can expect big things out of him. Check this out. This battle coming toward the finish line right now. This is a nose-to-tail one, no doubt about it. And that is Landon. Is that Landon Wolf and Braden Henthorne, I believe, doing battle right there for the 8th and 9th place positions as they check in now 1 minute and 10 seconds behind the battle for 6th place between Chris Borch and Brian Wolf. See our pro pits over there. Those are, I believe, the 4x4 pro pits as those guys raced earlier this morning. Man, talk about some phenomenal racing. We saw it in North Carolina. This week, wow, the different track conditions brought together a whole new element of it out there. But those guys been very impressive, no doubt. Right now, we watch an hour and now almost 8 minutes into this race, and we're looking at the finish line, which is just past the 12, right around that neighborhood. Leader is due in about 26.5 minutes for lap 3 complete, and I would assume at that point would be a white flag as the 2-lap card is out right now. Again, assessing this situation, I think this obviously deserves a little bit of a breakdown. Adam McGill out front, something that has not been out of the norm as far as the 2015 season is concerned. Walker Fowler running in the number 2 spot. Still, again, nothing out of the norm. Chris Bithell running in the number 3 spot. Is it out of the norm or isn't it out of the norm? No, it isn't out of the norm, but what could be out of the norm is what type of finish Chris Bithell actually pulls off today. Chris has had the struggles. He has good rides, but as of recently hasn't been able to post those up with good finishes, and that could turn around for him today because he is pretty fired up. There is no doubt about that in my mind, Fred. I talked to him. I saw him. I feel it in that conversation. I feel the frustration. And, I don't know that it's necessarily that he is jealous, but he wants what those guys have. He wants what Adam McGill's got. And, rightfully so, man. You work hard. You want that admiration. And he's going to try to deserve it. And that's how you go out there and you ride. You put in races like he's putting in today and just like he does it. And as we are just now past the two-lap mark for the top 10, we'll go into the Mid-State Midway report here with 1 lap complete for our XC. Well, we got 2 for the XC2 Pro-Am top 2. Cody Collier has moved into the lead position of this one now. That is a big change there. Blake Tornes running in the number 2 spot. There's only 9 seconds separating them. Cole Richardson, we know what happened there. Remember, he had the shock replacement, so we know he's lost back to at least 3rd. Tommy Kuntz, or AJ Kuntz, now checking in the number 3 spot. Only 15 seconds back of Tornes now. And, wow, Cody Collier, would that not be amazing to see that kid take a win here in that XC2 Pro-Am class after moving up basically directly from the morning class and the schoolboy racing in last year, 2014. Collier, Tornes, Kuntz, Cole Richardson still not checked in. Marty Christopherson has, as has Randy Hamilton. So we got 4th and 5th in, and still no sign of Cole Richardson. I believe that he will probably be not far behind in that department. Let's check in with some of these other classes while we got a moment. After 1 here, due in 4 minutes and 25 seconds for the College A 16 to 21. Wesley Wolf continues to lead. Stephen Michael Cunningham in 2nd. Austin Abney is 3rd. Christian Meyer in 4th. Kenny Schick rounding out the top 5. Greg Covert is 6th. Brandon Eichert at 7th. Anthony Barnes is 8th. Tyler Ware's 9th. And Corey Silverthorne rounds out your top 10. Junior A 22 plus class now we're taking a look at. Dwight Pollard, I don't know if he's led it from the drop of the green flag or not, but he's certainly headed in that direction of making something like that happen, because we saw him get the whole shot out there. We see him continue to lead this event here in the Junior A 22 plus class. He's out of Clayton, Georgia, enjoying a 9.8 second lead. The 7:02 of Stevie Colbert out of Ithaca, New York, runs in 2nd. 3rd place, Josh Beats, about 40 seconds back in 3rd. Dustin Piggott is 4th aboard the 913. Brett Hickey is 5th. Then 6th, Simon Bissell. Old Texas Walker Ranger, the 44, Chuck Norris himself out of Aiken, South Carolina. So I guess he's a South Carolina Ranger. Chuck Norris running in 7th. 8th is Matthew King. He's riding the 37. 9th, Michael McAvoy. And 10th, Nathan Hornacek. Bet A class, Matt Pierce leading out of Corning, Ohio. Oh, there's Brian Cook. Brian is 2nd place. Another former XC1 Pro class racer. Must have not scanned in or overlooked him a few moments ago. Brandon Summers is running 3rd. Former XC1 Pro racer Matt Hanna, former top XC2 Pro-Am rider. 901 is for Tommy Barrett, the 455 out of Canastota, New York, is 5th. Dustin Hendershot out of Washington, West Virginia is 6th. Nick Camilli out of Concord, North Carolina, 161 is 7th. 8th, Todd Demery, former top XC1 Pro rider out of Versailles, Indiana. 9th place, Wesley Stone out of Auburn, PA on the 68. Walt Shoemaker rounds out your top 10 out of West Mansfield, Ohio. Senior AB class, John Glotta, whose son, John Glotta, I believe, got 2nd place this morning behind Rocket Ronnie out of Waxhaw, North Carolina. 636, Mark Batson is running in the number 2 spot out of LaSalle, Michigan. Glotta Sr. leading this class, by the way. Batson in 2nd. Rusty Repass, the 705 from Mooresville, North Carolina, is 3rd. Aaron Delancey, the 42 out of St. Louisville, Ohio, is running in 4th. 5th place, Lane Coyle out of Brazelton, Georgia, on the 433. Mark Potter, the 358 out of Homer, New York, is running 6th. 625, Chuck Horton out of Alpharetta, Georgia, is 7th. 114, John Dimitri out of Landrum, South Carolina, is running in the 8th spot. 371, Brian Schrantz out of Monroe, Georgia. Now on to the B class, due in at about 10 minutes and 50 seconds for their 2nd lap complete, so they're still in the first quarter of the race, working on the first half. Blake Meyer leading this one by about 5 seconds at the end of that first lap. Braden Schick was there in the number 2 spot. 5:15, Jeremy Hill running in the number 3 position out of Pacific, Missouri. Colton White, 4:14, is 4th out of Hickory, North Carolina. Colin Gerber, the 596 out of Sugar Creek, Ohio, is 5th. 6th place, 214, Brandon Barnes from Delray, West Virginia. 7th place, 116, Spencer Modlin from Omaha, Nebraska. 8th place, 274, Dustin Atkinson out of Beverly, West Virginia. 9th place, 330, Charles Dawson from Lisbon, Ohio. And 10th place is Nick Mastrangelo out of Newcastle, PA. James Mauger, 189, leading Daniel Egger, the 554, by about 11 seconds. Mauger out of Williamstown, New Jersey, Gray Court, South Carolina, home to Egger, In the third place position, 77, Eric Hollyfield out of Bakersville, North Carolina. Cody Wolford, the 818, is fourth out of Dry Fork, West Virginia. Robert Mapp in fifth for the 81 out of Westminster, Maryland. Sixth place, Liam Cater, the 281 out of Scotch Plains, New Jersey, formerly of England. Actually moved to the United States. You probably heard me say this, to race ATV motocross. Fell in love with GNCC, and, well, here you go.
Nose to tail, Rodney. Walker Fowler has now caught Adam McGill.
Wow, so that one is one. Keep an eye on that one. We're almost done with our Mid-State Chevy Midway report here as we continue to look at Robert Mapp, Liam Cater. Brian Felicki is 7th, Trevor Payne in 8th, Lane Corey in 9th, and old Ben P.P. DeMarco, the 450, rounds out the top 10 in that one. And that, my friends, brings us to our final class. That was Junior B. We're on the Vet B. Adam Reed, Jeremy Gouchard, 8 minutes, 8.5 seconds. The Marlboro Man, Todd Mascala, the 64. The Menthol Marlboro Man running in third. Jason Dillard, 119 is fourth. Chris Davidson in fifth. Daniel Webb, 703 in sixth. Mark Smith in seventh aboard the 539. 410, John Sousa. Ninth place is 85, Sam Lamp. Rounding out the top 10, 912, Philip Thayer. And that will wrap up the Midway Report, your Mid-State Chevy Midway Report, brought to you by Mid-State Chevrolet in the heart of West Virginia, the official truck provider of the GNCC Racing Nation and the home of your next new car, truck, or van. Check them out, midstatechevy.com, on the World Wide Web and on Facebook, and make sure you let them know that you're part of this GNCC Racing Nation for even deeper and more special family discounts. They stack them deep, they sell them cheap. Mid-State Chevy. All right, back at the action on the racetrack. Fred Andrews, get us up to date what's going on. We were noting there a little bit ago that there was a gap and that Adam McGill was maintaining that gap, but things have changed.
Yes, Rodney. Walker Fowler has closed the gap up right now. And the last time we saw him, he was right on Adam McGill's rear bumper. They were nose to tail. And actually, third, fourth, and fifth, they're within a blanket of each other also. So the racing's really tightened up here this last lap.
That's the kind of things we like to see as we are on lap number 3 right now as we speak. We still got, believe it or not, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, one more to go after this one. Almost have to be. Leaders due in 17 minutes.
Here's our leaders coming through the infield here, Rodney. And like we said earlier, Adam McGill has got his hands full right now. Walker Fowler's that can smell the blood, and he wants some of it.
Oh, yeah, he does. And he's the only one that's been able to bring blood so far this year as he took the win away from Adam in Florida in the closing moments of that Wild Boar GNCC, and I know that there's probably visions of that going through both their minds and head right now, but I know that McGill learned a lot that day. Will he be able to apply what he learned here this afternoon in order to keep this one up front and take it to the win?
You know, Rodney, and catching Adam McGill is one thing, and passing him is another. You know, I'm sure he's learned from the last race. You got to be looking further ahead, looking for things to happen. And, you know, we can go through the tight sections here. Adam can sit back and kind of relax and kind of regroup. And then when he gets out into the open, when he knows where Walker has somewhere he can try to pass him, you know, Adam can really give it everything he's got to hold him off. But I think he's learned, like you said, a lot. And it may be a blessing that he's caught him, because now Adam can relax knowing that he's behind him. I know it might sound crazy, but when a guy's catching you and catching you and catching you, it makes you a lot more nervous than if he's right behind you. Well, then you know where he is all the time.
Right. Yeah, there's always that the unknown thing makes you think entirely too much and breaks your focus, I guess. Well, I tell you, watching this race right now, Fred, and the intensity that is starting to build here. Adam McGill, Walker Fowler, 1 and 2. Chris Bethel back in the number 3 spot, not far behind him, Bryson Neal. If you look at this, we've got great battles, two-way battles all the way through the lineup, it looks like. And, you know, it kind of started out like that this morning with the youth racing. We had great racing. The Polaris Ace racing, we saw great racing. And then again at 10 o'clock today, we saw another one of those intense 4x4 pro battles where, if memory serves me correct, I believe Brian Buchanan might have been able to come out on top once more.
All right, well, Brian Buchanan, you're all smiles finally right here in the center of the podium. You got a big win here today. Tell us how it went for you.
Yeah, it was great. I was second coming off the hole shot, and beautiful track out. GNCC laid out a perfect track. Just a really great day for everything overall. You know, we had a couple of little ups and downs throughout the race, but that's cross-country racing. You're going to have those. But overall, the Kenda tires hooked up excellent, and the Can-Am was great. I couldn't ask for anything better.
Now, in the overall running, you guys had a little bit different competition with some of those younger kids. Talk about that. Did that have any kind of difference in the racing in the 4x4 Pro class, or were you guys still just going at it for the championship?
Yeah, no, we know what we're against. You know, certain tracks cater to us, certain tracks don't. Hats off to those guys. They were flying, and, you know, when they caught up to us, we gladly will give them room and let them continue on their way. I actually rode behind Hunter for quite a while on the last lap, and, you know, if anything, it made me a little faster just following some of his lines. Younger crowds, a little bit more creative, and, you know, just a great time. We had a couple old things going down on the bike. I really wanted to baby it. I knew I had a little bit of a lead to work with, so I had to be smart and run my own race as well.
All right, well, your eyes are on the prize. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
That's Brian Buchanan. Congratulations to him for putting that back in the center of the box. And there goes 7-mile marker. Or it looks like that battle we were talking about for third place between Chris Bithell and Bryson Neal. A little bit of breathing room there now for CB7.
And I think Sneaky Snake was there too. I think 3rd, 4th, and 5th are all together, Rodney.
Oh, wow.
I think,
so
you know, it's going to be a dogfight all the way for that last spot on the podium.
Wow, and these are the times that we get to see these begin to develop. These battles like this begin to develop, and this is where we get the chance to, oftentimes, in my opinion, Fred, see some of the best racing we see of the race. I mean, it's intense to watch the first cut lap or so, and it's intense to watch the last lap, especially if they're coming down heated like we oftentimes get a chance to see it. But right here where the story really breaks loose and really gets told for the race day is where oftentimes is the most exciting for me. And we're watching it unfold. Chris Bithell, as we call him, CB7 there in the number 3 spot. Bryson Neal on the B. Neal Motorsports machine backed by Maxxis there in 4th place. And Jared McClure, the ATVriders.com, JMR Racing backed right there is not far off pace. Again, big gap back to the 6th place position of Chris Borch, and there goes Chris Borch right now as we speak at the 7-mile marker. And Fred, I'm going to have to say that's still looking at the minute plus mark there for between that gap between 5th and 6th.
You know, Rodney, too, watch Chris Borch go through the woods right there. He doesn't look like he has that aggression that he's had in the years before where he's really flooring it out there. It kind of just looks like he's going through the motions. So I don't know if he's changed his setup and he's really missed his whole mark this week.
And that's a very big possibility because he said they had made some big and major changes, you know, in suspension and different things like that. So maybe they might be a click off at this point as we watch Brian Wolf make his way by. And we're going to check back in with our leaders here. There they come now. There is McGill. There is Walker Fowler. That's at that 7-mile marker just a few minutes ago. They just came through there, Fred. And that shows you the intensity that they're racing at. Did you notice, you talked about how easy or laid back Chris Borch seemed to be riding through that same section. That was not the case for 1st and 2nd.
No, Rodney, there was dirt flying everywhere, and those guys are doing everything they can to try to gain a second or to close in a second. So those they're definitely hammering out, and it's going to be interesting to see Walker Fowler and Adam McGill this last lap because, you know, they've both won this year. They both want to win today. They want to get that middle of the box back. They want to get their confidence back, with it, which I would almost think even if Walker would get second, his confidence would be back, or if Adam would get second, they're both got the confidence is going to happen because they both know they're riding really well. They've got a gap on 3rd, and they're going forward.
And you look at the point standings right now, that's another big sigh of relief for Adam McGill. For as long as he stays steady and keeps her in the top 3, 4, 5, even top 10 and scoring points, he's got a 19-point lead or 20-point lead over Walker Fowler. And that's 2nd place. So he does have that little bit of breathing room. So he can afford a position or two, but you don't want to let a whole lot slip away, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure Adam's looking at this race by race. That 19 points right now, he probably knows it's there, but he's not thinking about that. Like you said, Rodney, if he's out there and he's feeling it, he's going to go for the win. If he's not and he's feeling a little off, he's going to let a guy go by or something just to get a position because he's got to finish the top 3, be perfect, or top 5 at the worst to be a champion. And you don't have to win every race, but you got to be there.
That's right. And, you know, even the confidence, and maybe even some have deemed overconfidence. I don't know. I just think it's confidence. But some people are a little feel a little bit braised by it, you know, the confidence that Adam is exuding right now. And a lot of it, again, you know, it's just that. I mean, it's a matter of fact, he's tired, he's done, and he's, like he said, he's not making any friends out there on the racetrack. And that has to lend me to second guess maybe something that you were saying there just a little bit, but not really, because I know you're right. But at the same time, Adam making the statement, and if you're one of these other riders and you're riding behind Adam, do those words start to ring back in your head, what he was saying in the pre-race interviews? I'm out here, I'm not to make any friends, I'm out here to win races and to bang tires, to rub tires, to bang Nerf bars, to do whatever it is, to keep it safe, but to be as aggressive in those safe realms at the same time to hold on to that #1 spot. And I think that's that might play a little bit in my head. I might think, okay, if I do try to go around him, is he going to try to pinch me off into this tree or what? I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see whether or not Walker rises to the occasion, what he decides to do and tries to make the pass, or whether or not Kurt's going to put him into that tree. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll find out that answer and many more questions to answer when we return with our Big Buck GNCC right after this.
Any engine, any season, at home, at the track, or on the trail. AMSOIL for any engine.
And welcome back to GNCC Live in Union, South Carolina for the VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC. Rodney Tomlin along with Fred Andrews and Jenny on the spot, Jen Kenyon out and about, reminding you to tweet your podium predictions to hashtag GNCC Live on Twitter. And, of course, we'll put those all together. We'll draw out a name randomly and award the winner $250 in AMSOIL products. Again, you don't have to be right. We just want you to play along. Who are your favorite riders? Who do you think's got what it takes to play here today? Again, hashtag GNCC Live for your chance to win. Fred, I tell you, we were talking there just a few moments ago about the intensity of that battle going on between Adam McGill and Walker Fowler. And, you know, I made mention of the statements that he's been making, not out to make friends. I'm ready to rub paint. I'm ready to put some green stripes on somebody's quad out there off my Nerf bars. I'm ready to rub tires. And, you know, I posed the question just before the break, would that make a person second guess maybe trying to get around Adam McGill? And you've got your own opinion on that.
Yeah, right, I sure do. I think Walker Fowler he'd encourage that. You know, he's not going to take Adam McGill out, but he's not afraid to rub bumpers or rub paint either. So Adam's kind of saying that, trying to get in their heads, isn't going to work with Adam McGill or Chris Borich or any of those guys, I don't think, because all these guys are friends, but they're racers too, so they know that nobody's going to intentionally take somebody out. Right. So if it takes some rubbing some paint and having some fun, and I can remember when I did it, Rodney Smith and I would be going at it for the championship, and we'd be hitting each other and bumping each other, and we'd be laughing at the same time because, you know, it's racing and it's fun racing. And afterwards we say, man, we had so much fun out there, and that's what keeps us going. And, you know, we never tried to hurt each other, but, yeah, we banged into each other and he hit, and people may have thought we were riding dirty, but we never were. It's just part of racing, and actually it gets you fired up and gets you going, okay, well, let's go on. And that's what Walker Fowler will be doing right now. He's not going to worry about Adam McGill. If he can rub some paint and make a pass, he's going to. And then he knows that if he does, Adam McGill will come in and try to do the same thing on him. But, you know, you don't have to worry about the guy coming in there and just cleaning you.
No, that is one great thing, and that's one thing that Adam has reiterated time after time. He's not out there to try to you know, take anybody out, as nobody else is. You know, he is friends with these guys, but he is not out to make any friends on the racetrack. So, I mean, he's got a whole different discipline about himself. As he says, I like the statement. It's become kind of a battle cry. I've got enough friends at home.
Hey, he's got enough Mafia shirts all over the track. He doesn't need to have one on another rider. But,
that's it.
You know, like you said, Rodney, it's all about if he's got the line, he's not going to give it up and let Walker go by. But if Walker's got the line, he may run it in there and they may get a little close, but he's never just going to try to take it away from him. And that's the exciting thing about racing, and we're going to see some of that hopefully here this last lap of these guys that'll be coming around here pretty soon.
Yep, and about 4 minutes and 20 seconds, as a matter of fact, our XC1 Pro Class lead between McGill and Fowler are due in. Some 15, 20 seconds back behind them, Chris Bithell and Bryson Neal, and now Jared McClure. Three-way battle shaping up for the number 3 spot. Big gap back to Chris Borch and Brian Wolf, where they were battling a little bit ago in 6th and 7th. Landon Wolf in 8th, Braden Henthorne 9th, Kevin Yoho in 10th. A quick look at this XC2 Pro-Am class again. I just want to kind of showcase this one a little bit, the Pro-Am class. Cody Collier sporting the number 201, which is actually his former number from the overall morning championship. That 201 signifies the national championship, overall national championship in the morning division, and that's what he was running there in 2014 whenever he won that in 2013, raced again in 2014. Toward near the end of the season, he was still in contention a little bit and could be a factor as far as trying to figure out whether or not he could be a top 201 or close to a 201 rider again, but they elected to go ahead and make the step up there in Indiana at the last round rather than actually stepping in the XC2 Pro-Am straight from the morning race and basically a youth stepping stone class with the schoolboy class. They had him run the college A class to see where he fared. He fared very well, and here he is today, 4 rounds in. We've already talked about him a lot this year, but 4 rounds are. And we got a new leader, it looks like. What's going on out here out near the 11-mile marker as, oh my, Adam McGill looks and appears to have relinquished that lead to Walker Fowler. And I tell you, man, you were right. Don't look like Walker was any whatsoever shaken, battered, or torn with any of the statements and comments that Adam McGill was making leading into this race.
No, plus when Walker was catching Adam McGill right there, you know, that even gives you more encouragement, and you can feel him, and it makes you even want to get around him more. And it's going to be interesting to see if that really did happen right there. And I'm sure Walker was riding some inside, some outside lines, trying to get into Adam McGill's head to try to let him know he was there, which he didn't need to because Adam could feel it. I'm sure of that.
Bryson Neal heading through right there, followed by Jared McClure and Chris Bithell. We see Bithell actually right behind him. I think that's who that was right there. But wow, already, and there might even been a change there, but you got McGill and Fowler flip-flopping there at that last report there at the 11-mile marker. Fowler out in front of McGill. Then I think I seen Neal, Bithell, and McClure in the 3, 4, and 5 spots, and they weren't far off pace. I mean, they were probably 15, 20 seconds still back behind the battle for first and second place right now.
Yeah, Rodney, too. Now this is going to do on the flip side right now. Walker Fowler's in the lead now. Adam McGill saying, you know what, I rode too hard all day long. I've been out front. This isn't going to happen. So he's digging even deeper now to try to get back around him. So this is going to be really, really exciting.
Well, you got to wonder, too, you know, is Adam going to take this moment to kind of just dial things in, collect himself, freshen himself up before he sticks his head back down and goes for the charge? And again, you know, the heat. This is another thing that we're that we're kind of unsure about. We're not sure about it because, you know, though a lot of these guys did train throughout the course of the winter, I don't know how much time that actually Adam McGill spent down there during the warmer part of the winter this past winter down in Florida. Now, I know that he spent some days down there and it got pretty warm, but is today's temperatures going to take its toll on him or anybody else out there?
You know, right, I think the time they spent in Florida in the heat over the winter is gone by now. You know, that was in March, so that's too long ago. I think they've all been up here and they all know how to hydrate, and they're all probably pretty good for the heat. But I think right now Adam McGill's probably in second place, and it's always easier to follow. So now Walker's got to rev his motor, yell and scream to get the lappers out of the way, so Adam can sit back there. He can, like you said, take a breather, kind of relax a little bit, regather his thoughts, and it's a lot easier to follow. So maybe that's what he's doing right now. But he can't let Walker get away from him and get some lappers in between him, because then it's going to work the opposite for you. You know, you're going to say, oh no, he's gone and I can't catch him, I can't see him anymore. And from the looks of it right now, it's like Walker Fowler has got his head down, and he's going to show you that the last lap. And Adam McGill, you better get going.
Yeah, no doubt. The white flag going to be coming out on this one, and Adam McGill has led so much of this race to let it slip away as he grabs, Walker Fowler grabs a quick drink of water on his way through the finish line chicanes now. White flag is out. Walker Fowler is about to get his own bit of some redemptions here. He's had good days, he's had bad days, and he's had really bad days here. Today, though, not a bad day at all, and not a bad day either for the second place ride now of Adam McGill, who sits an even 4 seconds back. 30 minutes, 44 seconds on that lap time for Walker Fowler, 30 minutes, 53 seconds for Adam McGill. These lap times have slowed down, or sped up, I should say, from 33, almost 34 minutes to what we are seeing now at just over 30 and under 31. So maybe that long and lengthened race that we thought we were going to be looking at, like 2:10, 2:11, might finish up a little sooner. Maybe we're closer to the 2:04, 2:05 mark, which could lend its hand to some of these guys. Again, maybe it means a lot, maybe it doesn't. But I know in talking to some of these guys, that last 10 minutes, they start to feel.
Yeah, Rodney, and too, like you said, Walker Fowler and Adam McGill have hooked up together right now, so their lap times are even getting faster, so that's why our times are changing. But also when they're going faster, they're using up more energy, they're hitting the bumps harder, they're going to get a little bit more fatigue. So now that they've kind of broke away a little bit, it's going to be interesting to see if Walker Fowler can keep that little bit of a gap he's got right now, or if Adam McGill's going to say, you know what, I'm in second place, I'm in this for the championship, I rode the wheels off this thing today. If it's not my day and I'm not going to win, I'm going to take this second, but I'm not going to let Walker run away. I'm going to try to keep him close together, let him carry me through the finish and take second. I'll lose a few points, but I'm also gaining a few points, and I'm still the points leader, and I still have a nice gap.
And you think about it, that's exactly how you win a championship.
You're right, Ronnie. You know, you got to be thinking the whole time. You know, if right now if he rides a little bit over his head, yeah, he may catch Walker and maybe try to make a pass, catch a tree like Sneaky Snake did, flip him over the bars or somehow and get a DNF, then you're out of the game. So
exactly.
He's doing right what he needs to do for a championship, keep himself in position, and hopefully it happens good for him.
It's amazing how these guys mature, and you know, Adam, I think it's been a maturing process for him the whole time, and building the program and maturing at the same time to get to the level that he's gotten to so far. Utterly amazing. Fowler, McGill, Bryson Neal in third, 52 seconds now behind McGill. Jared McClure is 3.7 seconds back. And Chris Bithell, I told you we've seen some flopping around. It looks like they flopped again, and Chris Bithell now has dropped off to the number 5 position, CB7 if you will. Chris Borich is still back in the number 6 spot, but now Borich is 1 minute and 8 seconds behind Bithell out of the top 5. As far as Brian Wolf is concerned, that battle that was so intense between he and Chris Borich in less than a second separating the two, well, no one in sight right now for that 7th place position. Well, as we watch and wait for the remainder of our top 10, we got our top 5 in the XC1 Pro class. You know, this morning, once again, we have the opportunity to watch another race. We introduced the Polaris Aces, one of our, well, now a sponsor of the series, but we introduced them as a racing venue last year at the Ironman GNCC as an exhibition race. Well, our first round of competition and the national championship battle in that single seat or Polaris Ace race took place in Georgia a few weeks ago. And of course, round 2 getting, well, it fired up and fired off the starting line earlier this morning. And what another amazing race. It's a nice small track for these guys, an enclosed car for these guys to drive, and they put on a heck of a show. The crowd loved it, and believe it or not, a former top amateur ATV racer and trainer of the stars, so to speak, Mark Spataro, ended up winning the 2nd ever Polaris Ace race.
Here with the winner of our Polaris Ace UTV race today. Mark Spatero. Mark, tell us all about your race today. Tell us about the course. It looked like an absolute blast out there.
Yeah, first of all, the course was so much fun. It was everything we love, fields, woods, technical stuff. Perfect for the ace, for these learning curves of these racers, these buggies. A lot of fun. I mean, just wide open, good times.
Tell us a little bit about your previous history with GNCC.
Well, I've been racing ATVs for the last 15 years, and I plan on racing right after this. So still riding 450Rs in the morning class, super senior, and hope to be back out there in a little bit.
Hey, I didn't get to see the start, Mark. Tell us a little bit about how your start went and what happened throughout the race.
My Polaris buggy started quick. We took off. I got the whole shot and never looked back. It was just smooth sailing the whole time out on the track. I was just having a great time, enjoying everybody and enjoying the Polaris ace.
Well, I know one thing. We couldn't take a towel and wipe that smile off your face right now. Hey, who you want to thank for helping you out and getting this win today?
First and foremost, Michael Swith and all the members of Team UXC, Factory Polaris for providing such an awesome, fun ride. Rock Speed Effects, they do us up with all of our armor to protect the buggy out there on the course. And Max's Tires, Tire Balls, my girlfriend Brenda Lisinski, and my company, Motor Pro Training.
Hey, there you have it. A lot of people involved getting Mark up here for the win. Mark, we appreciate you guys and all the effort you put in out there. Looked like you had an absolute blast, so congratulations for win number
1. Yeah.
Awesome, fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you guys so much. We really enjoyed coming here.
Awesome. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks a lot. Megawatt Matt Watson with the interview on that one. And Mark Spatero, congratulations to you as well on your first win. Fowler on the screen, he fist pumping through the woods right there. We saw those celebrations out of Adam
Well, you
McGill.
know, right, I don't think he was fist pumping. I actually think he was thanking that guy for letting him by on that quad. That guy moved over.
I looked.
He's had his hand up there just
Okay.
like thank you, because you know that goes a long way.
It does.
At the next race, when Walker Fowler comes up on that guy and revs his motor again, he's going to say, turns around and sees it's Walker. Oh, that guy was nice. He'll move over for it, and you go. And you know, it's just nice. Those guys are not as fast as you, and it's nice that, you know, to thank them for letting you go by.
Most definitely, and I didn't quite. I just caught that. All I caught was Walker throwing his hand up right there. I didn't know, but I was thinking, man, if he was celebrating, it's awful early to be celebrating.
Yeah, because Adam McGill was right there. There's no celebration going on yet. He knows Adam is right there, just kind of waiting to see what unfolds.
So there you go, man. And that's the great and the beauty of this RacerTV, man. We get to see so much more and so many different elements of this, though it's only small captions of the track that we're taking a look at. They're interesting enough, and we see enough and enough action that it really helps to tell the story as it unfolds.
Well, yeah, as a person at home on TV, you see things right here as a racer, as if you were racing, things that you would never see if you weren't here, you know, and some things you never expect that goes on in the woods like that. You know, you'd never think that a guy would go by and, hey, thanks for letting me by when you're winning a race.
You never think
and it does happen. We're out here and having fun, and, you know, like Sneaky Snake hitting that tree and about flipping over. I mean, that's just some cool footage that we're getting with RacerTV, and it's awesome that it's on TV like this. I wish it was like this when I did it. You could see what went on in the woods. But, you know, technology, everything gets better and better, and things are going forward.
Well, we saw CB7 going by there, Chris Bithell there a moment ago. Looks like he's relinquished some of that battle to Bryson Neal and Sneaky Snake Jared McClure. Neal is, I think, still looking great out there. Man, this kid, you talk about a kid that is mature for a sophomore in the XC1 Pro class. Talking with him this morning, man, and I think a lot of it has to do with his mechanic, Brock Booth, who helped bring Walker Fowler to the level that he is at right now whenever he rode with Balance Racing there a few years ago. But, I mean, he looked at it and, you know, he said, hey, man, you know, I got 6th place at the last race. It's not where I want to be. It's not where I intend to be, but it's better than a DNF. And, you know, instead of riding over my head and pushing it too far, I just went ahead and I settled in for that day, took it, and knew that there'd be a new day today. And I got goosebumps. I'm not going to lie. I know you hear me say this oftentimes, and when I say it, I really mean it. But talking with Bryson Neal this morning, I did get goosebumps. And I don't know if it was because of what he was saying, how he was saying it, whether something is looming in the air and big going to happen today or in the future or whatever. But what it tells me is that, man, Bryson may be young, may be new to this position, but I think he's in for the long haul.
Yeah, Rodney, and he's got somebody here that was with a champion, knows what it takes to be a champion, and he can look up to him and say, respect what he says and listen to him because he knows that he was with Walker. So he's just doing what a lot of people who love our sport and myself do, like me with the KR4 ride team. You know, I've got young kids on mini bikes, and I'm passing what I know along to them to make their ride even more fun, to make it more enjoyable for them, or maybe give them little hints on how to make them a better rider, and that's what he's doing with him. So it's cool that you can have somebody look up to, and it's really paying off for him.
Well, Jake Kenyon, I think that you're probably along the same line with us, thinking about good old Brock Booth. You had a chance to talk to him too, right?
Yeah, I was down in the McPits actually just a little bit earlier, and we were talking about strategy because we've seen a lot of strategy coming from Brock Booth this year with Bryson Neal. And one of the things he talked about was this is a 2-hour race. The pace was very high right from the get-go. Adam McGill jumped out there. So the one thing he was telling Bryson is just keep your composure. Don't try to go fast right away because you've got some time. This is a longer race, so the guy who's in shape is going to be the guy up there on the podium and maybe in the center of the podium at the end. So I know those are things that are running through Bryson's mind, and we might see a big charge from him here at the end.
No doubt, and I'll tell you, there are things and things at work with Brock Booth and the B. Neal Motorsports team over there that I don't think people realize. I don't, of all the team leaders that I watch on the ATV side of things, that has become such a family-oriented atmosphere over there as we talk about, you know, and reiterate oftentimes the logistical business end of the racing end of it, the actual nuts and bolts racing on the track, strategies and things like that. You don't hear these guys talking about so much. Not saying that they don't use them, but you don't hear them talk about it, and it's not as obvious until this year with Bryson Neal and Brock Booth. He's brought it back into the GNCC Racing Nation.
Yeah, right. Not to cut you off on that subject, but Walker Fowler just went by, and he probably had 9 or 10 seconds on Adam McGill. So it looks like Walker Fowler's kind of stretching it out here this last lap. So maybe, like we talked about that before, maybe Adam McGill is just kind of going to take what he can get for second and pad his points. And you know what Brock Booth's doing right now is what you need to do. You know, he's still in the sport. He's helping a lot of people. He's helping them learn what he knows about racing and making them a better racer, and that's really carrying forward. You know, like you said, he's got a young rider underneath him now, so they've got a lot of room to go up.
It kind of reminds me of the pattern that you took, man, on the bike side of things, man. The leader that you are over there with the KR4 and the
yeah, same thing. You know, right now I've got a lot of knowledge. I've done a lot of things, and the young kids are the most fun to work with because we go on track walks and do different things, and they like to listen. And everything you say, you know, they're feeding off it. Yeah. Everything, they don't forget a word of it. And we had a few of our guys do a great race last weekend. A little Jack Grover got his best race. He got second. He's never been on the podium before. He got on the podium, so we got him over there in our pro area right now. He's our featured rider, so he's excited. He's got some handouts, so everybody needs to go over there and sign one for him. But you know, it's a lot of fun giving back to the sport. You know, we love GNCC racing. We want it to keep on growing.
And we certainly do, and we're working to make that happen. These guys on the racetrack are certainly making it happen. We're 18 minutes out from when we should see now Walker Fowler take the checkers quite possibly. We are on the final lap of racing right now. The way this one started out, I mean, it's, well, I think pretty obvious. We've mentioned it several times. Adam McGill got the All Balls $200 hole shot award out there as he, again, convincing start, ripping it through the first few turns, leading there on the first lap. We saw the lead look like it was going to start to stretch out, and then all of a sudden it started closing up as Walker Fowler said he was not going to be denied, was not going to let Adam McGill stretch things out. So he puts his head down and he charges, and he does make the pass. And here we sit now. But as well, but going on behind them, the battle with Bryson Neal, Jared McClure, and Chris Bithell for the number 3 spot, the final spot there on the podium. And a name that we haven't said a whole lot under race conditions today is that of the 6-time defending GNCC champ of Chris Borch, who currently runs back in the number 6 position. Chris, again, we're anticipating that something not right as far as he's just not comfortable enough to run that pace today, and or a mistake happened that took him out of pace and put him back so far that he can't make it back. So looks like he's just basically riding the salvage again here today. Now, traditionally, a salvage day for Chris Borch is a 3rd place position. To see him ride for a salvage day to pick up a 6th place, again, it's just pure evidence of what's taking place here in GNCC racing and the advancement of all these riders and their abilities and talents.
Yeah, Rodney, everybody's getting better and better. You know, but Chris Borch brought this on. He came in here and kicked everybody's butts for so many years. Everybody had to figure out what he was doing. Now they're figuring it out, and they're stepping it up. So, you know, if Chris has a year like he's having right now, he's having some hot and some cold, you know, he's going to grow for next year. So
Yeah.
it's never over. You know, he may need a year off, and it's bad to say, but it's good for our sport or GNCC racing
is.
not to have Chris Borich winning every other week.
Right.
You know, we got some new guys in there, some different guys winning. We got some more sponsors that want to come in and sponsor some guys because they've got some different chances of getting onto the podium. You know, and it's not helping Chris's bank account any, but it's actually doing him a little bit of favor for our racing. And
It does.
you know, Chris is a champion. He'll be back, and he's struggling right now, but he'll get that thing figured out.
He will, and that's the great thing. It goes in cycles. There's a lot of folks right now that may, and I don't want to put it like this, but may actually be rooting for Chris because he's been on top for so long. But a lot of those guys that were rooting against Chris may be switching their alliances to rooting for Chris because so many of us, and I'm one of them, I'm guilty as anybody, I love it for the underdog, man. I love to see the underdog win. And right now, Chris Borich is turning into a little bit of an underdog while the former underdog, Adam McGill, is turning in the top dog. Even though he's riding in second right now, he's still riding like top dog.
Yep, Rodney, that's the great thing about our sport. You know, you never know. Everything you think has got going on is perfect. Your bike is great, this and that. But when you come to race, it's totally different what goes on. And I think our leaders are coming up right now to the 7-mile marker. And there goes Walker Fowler. He's still got a little bit of lead over Adam McGill.
4 seconds, that's about what we saw there. 4 seconds exact is what we saw at the finish line. It was 4.000 on the time behind. And wow. That means that these guys are still right on pace and riding exactly identical lap times right now, which is pretty remarkable, I think, at 7 miles into this race.
You know, Rodney, too, right now they're getting towards the end of the lap, and like when I raced, I always walked the last couple laps to find a spot where if I was close to the guy in front of me, I could just kind of lay back, and then it was time I could try to make my pounce and pass right there. So maybe that's what Adam McGill's doing right now. Maybe he's just following because that's all he's got and he's happy, but it'll be interesting to see if, you know, he did pick out a line, or, you know, Walker Fowler, too. He's in the lead right now, and the closer he gets to the finish, he's seeing these mile markers click off. He's getting more confidence in himself, saying, I'm getting there, I'm going to win this one. He keeps on telling himself that he wants to win. So there's a lot of head game going on against yourself kind of this last lap right here, and it's going to be interesting to see if Adam McGill does have a little line picked out somewhere.
Well, I'm going to turn the radio over, and I'm going to listen to some race call off the radio itself. Hey, track crew, this is Rodney. Just want to let you know and give you a heads up. Leaders just passed the 7-mile marker. We are on radio right now and listening if you've got any updates that you want to pass along on any of these battles. So we'll wait for some upcoming updates because those guys, man, they give us they paint some of the best pictures as far as this racing is concerned. Fowler, McGill, Neal, 1, 2, and 3. McClure 4th, Bithell in 5th. Big gap back to Chris Borich in 6th. Then XC2 Pro-Am, Cole Richardson. Look at that. He's back up front. Remember, he dropped completely out of the top 5. Now Cole Richardson's back up to the front of the pack. He's 11 seconds ahead of Cody Collier, who is now 2nd. Blake Tornes is running in the number 3 spot. Marty Christopherson in 4th place. A.J. Kuntz rounds out the top 5. So, wow. Again, you know, we say it, you know, champions, they prove themselves time and time again, and that's what Cole Richardson's doing here in this XC2 Pro-Am class right now.
Yeah, you know, after Cole got that shock problem fixed or whatever was going on in there, he got it done. They sent him on his way, and he put his head down, and he pushed his way to the front, you know, just like we were talking about. I thought he could probably get back up there because he's been winning that class pretty handily. He's been having a good run going on his Yamaha, and he's proven today that he can come from behind and still win that class.
And he did it in 4 miles because he was in the lead at the end of lap 3. If you remember, on lap 3, he was in the pits getting a shock changed. He dropped. Wow, man, I mean, it's at least 5 spots back there, but pretty impressive, no doubt about it. Cole Richardson, Cody Collier, Blake Tornes, Marty Christopherson, A.J. Kuntz is your top 5. Randy Hamilton in 6, James Green in 7. Bryson Hops 8th, Jonathan Fugate is 9th, and old Levi Cohen rounds out your top 10 in that XC2 Pro-Am class. But all eyes, all attention up front between Walker Fowler, Adam McGill, then Bryson Neal, Jared McClure, Chris Bithell battling it out for that final podium position. Well, you can see right now by the body English and the way that a lot of these what would be lap traffic, I guess, for some of these guys are riding. There's not the fever, there's not the intensity that we saw, say, an hour and a half ago between these guys, because as we approach this 2-hour mark, we start to see that fatigue is setting in.
Yeah, Rodney, you know, these guys have all had a long day out there. Like I said before, this track is really, really rough. So right now, when they come around, they're coming to the white flag. They don't even know it's the last lap, but luckily they're going to come through and see the checkered, and they're all going to be smiling, I'm sure, because you know, they all had enough fun. Their fun cart's full, and there goes Walker Fowler right now through the pro pit area, and he's still got that little 4 or 5 second lead over Adam McGill. So they're not stretching it out, and he's not letting him get away from him.
Well, you know, you talked about it, and you know, Adam McGill, even today, you know, I mean, he was confident in the way that he, you know, coming into this one, that he was wanting to win and everything. But the one thing that he didn't do was he didn't make those bolsterous comments saying that, you know, that's what he was going out to do, he's win, and, you know, he didn't call his shot, so to speak, today. But he did say, you know, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to win, but I'm not saying either that I am going to win, but what I am going to do is I'm going to ride smart, is basically what he was telling me. And that's what he's doing. I mean, and he also told me that he had some lines picked out in the last 2 miles, like you were referring to there just a few moments ago, that might put him in a position to steal the win back away toward the end of this final lap of racing. Right now, final lap, lap number 4 of this VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC, and we'll be back with more right after this. Well, I tell you, man, a very beautiful community. Union, South Carolina, enjoy some of the beautiful landscape and architecture that Union, South Carolina has to offer. And you can tell a lot of history here in Union, South Carolina, Fred Andrews, not only with the Big Buck GNCC, but we're talking back to Native Americans, we're talking Civil War, and right on through, man. This place a very big part of American history. There's no doubt about that. And being a part of it is certainly a treat and an honor for us here in the GNCC Racing Nation. Welcome back once again. Rodney Tomlin along with Fred Andrews and Jen Kenyon. The VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC at the Henry Turner Family Farm here just outside of Cross Keys, South Carolina. Just a little spot on the map here in Union County. Actually, it's just outside of Union County, but we're right inside the Union County lines here. And Union itself, about 15 miles away, a community that has grown so much since we started coming here about 20 years ago, and has grown a lot also since 1823, the early 1800s, as you saw there in that little piece a few moments ago. Walker Fowler still leading. Adam McGill, Bryson Neal, Jared McClure, Chris Bithell, your top 5. So listening in for, haven't got any real updates as of recently there, Fred, but we're trying to listen in here. But I really don't think there's a whole lot to update, man. You got Walker Fowler and Adam McGill running 4 seconds apart. 4 seconds apart is what they've been at the end of the last lap heading into this lap. And 4 seconds apart is what they've been every time we've laid eyes on them out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, Ronnie, you know, it's pretty amazing that they can stay that close for a whole lap. So that's just showing that, you know, how bad they both want to be there. And I think maybe Adam McGill, he may have that extra spot. He may just be laying that 4 seconds back, and then when it comes time, he may pull a little slingshot move and see if he can't shoot through the woods or shoot through some trees and pass him.
Yeah, you know, I was wondering the same thing, man. He seems to be riding with such confidence and such ease right now. It's almost as if he's setting Walker up for the big kill toward the end of that. And, you know, I mean,
Wouldn't it be appropriate, though? I mean, if you think about it, because that's exactly what Walker did to him, basically, at the opening round. He thought he had it in the bag, and he stole it back. So maybe that might be what he's going to try to go for. I don't know.
Maybe that is exactly what Adam's trying to do. Adam knows, hey, if I stay close enough, maybe we'll catch a lapper, and, Walker has to go right or left. Maybe Walker will take that way, and I'll have the clear way. So you never know. It may happen like that, but
if
one
it's
thing's
not
for
the
sure,
plan,
if
it's not the plan, it's the hopes. That's
for
sure.
Walker's definitely riding the wheels off that thing today. He's, he had a struggle last weekend or 2 weekends ago, and this weekend he came from behind and got in the lead. So he's showing you that him and his Ampro Yamaha are working well, and they're where they want to be, and things are looking good.
Yeah, Walker also stating the fact to me that today is the first race that he has been 100% healthy since the start of the season. The first rounds, we remember him passing out from exhaustion after the race due to illness and injury, and that carried over into Georgia a week later. And believe it or not, some few weeks later, even into North Carolina, he was still feeling the residual effects of that because he hadn't been able to train and he hadn't had all of his strength up quite yet, but he feels that in the last 2 weeks and since that race there at Steel Creek, he's made a lot of major advancements in his training. It's showing, I think, here right now, rolling through this final lap, and he expects to be a lot more of a factor today, which is showing right here as well, leading, and only, while we look in probably 4 minutes from the checker flag right now.
Too, Rodney, Walker's been able to train, he's been able to ride, he's been able to build himself confidence. So now when he went to the start line this morning, he knew he had done everything for these past 2 weeks to put him in position to win the race. Where those other races when he was sick, he goes to the start line going, man, I really don't feel that good. I didn't get to ride a whole bunch this week. I didn't get to train like I wanted to. And that's a confidence thing, and that, it's all psycho thing. And then now he went to the line knowing he did all his homework, he's ready to go, he ate right, he feels good, he's not sick anymore, and it's showing today that he's putting in an awesome ride, came from behind and getting to the lead.
Wow, here it is. Look at this. There goes Walker Fowler, and look, not just a couple bike lengths back now at the 11-mile marker is Adam McGill, man. He is, his dog's in the hunt right now, and he is tracking down that rabbit right now, and they're working their way through lap traffic. We just saw him go through a couple of riders right there at the 11-mile marker. Both these riders, man, the intensity in the last 3 miles has picked up so much.
Oh, yeah, Rodney. You only got a few miles to go. You're right there at the finish, so you're giving it all you got right now because, they know they're far enough ahead that even if they do mess up, maybe catch a tree and get stuck for a second or two, they're still going to get second place unless something really drastic happens to them. So, they're going to maybe take a little extra chances right here at the end.
Fowler and McGill.
Gen 4 Hollywood, wheel to wheel on the uphill. McGill and Fowler. Fowler still in the lead on that uphill section, and I believe we just witnessed part of that ourselves. We saw what was going on there, and we hope to see and hear more radio reports as they work their way here in this final mile of racing now toward the checker flag. A little over 2 hours and 3 minutes now of racing action here at the VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC, and everything and every that we had hoped for and dreamed of is coming to fruition once again, my friends. A battle down to the wire. Walker Fowler leading this one. Adam McGill running in the number 2 spot. The stage is set for a steal of the win with Adam McGill to redeem himself from that first round with Walker Fowler stealing that win away from him. Will he be able to make it happen? Those questions will be answered in a matter literally of seconds right now as these riders motor their way toward the finish line chicanes, Fred Andrews. And I tell you, man, the intensity of the crowd down there right now has to be at its utmost highest here in South Carolina.
Oh, yeah, right, especially when you got these big grass track coming up right now. They got some big high-low lines. They can try to make something happen. Maybe Adam McGill can do it out there in the grass fields. I mean, the crowd's pouring over there right now. There's people lining up right now just to see what's going to happen. They're going to pop out of that little bit of wood section. They got some rights and they got some lefts, and they got some big bull corners to come before the finish line. So it's definitely not going to be over until they cross that finish line.
Bryson Neal, I believe, checking in by himself in the number 3 position there at the 11-mile marker right now. Regardless, Fowler and McGill continue to battle up front, and we'll find out whether or not Neal was able to hang on to that 3rd place position to the podium or not here in just a few moments. We hear the intensity. Is that those guys down below us working toward the finish line right now? The way the RPMs are revving up right now, we got to be thinking that these guys are getting close to that open field section, and if I'm guessing right, that is exactly where they will be. The starting line Actually, the old starting line is down that way where the finish line is now. They'll travel down through there. So what we're hearing right now, listen to the revs in the woods. I don't know if you can hear
Here they are,
there it
Rodney.
is.
Here they are.
They're coming out of that wood section now, and it don't look like it's going to be much of a change as Fowler somehow or another was able to stretch it back out a few bike lengths. It's not as tight as it was, but we got a lot of these chicanes, a lot of speed leading up to this finish line. Can Kurt McGill, Adam McGill, make things happen here today? Will he try to make things happen, or will he settle for that second place position? I hate to think that he's going to settle, and it don't look like it.
Well, Rodney, and I'm sure he's not going to settle, but Walker Fowler's got a big enough lead, and Walker Fowler knows to get through these corners clean, and he's got it made, and boom, Walker Fowler's our champion.
There it is, my friends.
Hard fought.
Second win of 2015, and your VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC win goes to Walker Fowler, and they're in the number 2 spot. You're now in current and continuing points leader of Adam McGill, who now is only about 15 points ahead of Walker Fowler in the point standings, but he is still ahead. And knowing what's going on back there right now with Chris Borch all the way back in 6th, that 30-40 point deficit is going to get even broader now up toward that first and second place position between Walker and Adam McGill. And as we approach the halfway point, one has to begin to question, is Chris Borch going to be able to pull out of this one this year? I don't know. That's going to be a big question to answer. But right now, the big question we're looking at is who's going to get this third place position. Is it going to be Bryson Neal on that B. Neal Motorsports machine backed by Max's tires? And if I'm not mistaken, is that him making his way in now?
That looks like Sneaky Snake.
That's Sneaky Snake. He's done it. He did it. He snuck his way right into it, climbing trees and everything through the middle of the event. At the halfway point, remember, he was climbing the tree with that ATV. Wow, what an amazing ride for Sneaky Snake now as he is through those chicanes. I cannot wait to hear what happened on that last lap. Remember how tight Neal, McClure, and Bithell were there at one point. Well, we see what happened. Snake was able to slither his way out, words of his own, and look at that, Jared McClure taking the number 3 position, finding himself on the podium here in 2015 at this VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC. Wow, I'm pretty excited about that, man.
Climbing that tree really got him fired up. He wanted to move forward after that, but man, he rode an awesome ride today. You could see, you know, he was moving forward all day long. He caught that tree, and we thought, oh, yeah, he's losing it. But man, it just dug down deep and finished with another podium finish. That's awesome.
And another outstanding ride by the Max's B. Neal Motorsports ride of Bryson Neal. You cannot take anything away from this young sophomore in this class as he will finish up in the number 4 position doing exactly.
And you noticed too, Rodney, he had his goggles off when he came in, so he may either got hung up somewhere or he could have been overheating himself, pulled the goggles off to get a little more airflow into his face and into his helmet, into his mouth. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe he got stuck or if he just kind of, the heat got to him a little bit out there with his goggles off.
Well, Chris Bithell was only 1 second behind that duo at the end of lap number 3, and we've yet to see him check in, so you can see what kind of intensity these guys must have been racing at. Overheating, dirty goggles, a clip of the tree, and falling back off the pace. Those are all things that are very understandable in this battle as the CB7 makes its way into vision now, and through the chicane section, looks like he is going to be able to wrap up the number 5 spot, and yet another full-on privateer, the one-man band, if you will, of Chris Bithell making his way in for a top 5 ride here at this Big Buck GNCC. No, it's not a podium finish. No, it's not a win, but what it is a step in the right direction.
Yes.
So there you go, Fred Andrews. Like we said, man, I mean, after some lackluster results, being able to redeem yourself like this really puts you in a great position, there's no doubt.
Yeah, you know, right, it's confidence thing like we've talked about 100 times right now. And, you know, there's Chris Borch coming in right now. And after his last week's race, you know, he got a good finish. I figured, you know what, he's figured it all out. He's going forward. But now he's kind of got a little hiccup and he's gone backwards again. So it'll be interesting to see. He's got 2 weeks to regroup and try to get rid of the hiccups and put himself back up to where he used to be or where he knows he can be, and I'm sure it'll happen. It just
matter of time.
Yeah.
Well, Walker Fowler takes the win. Adam McGill in 2nd, Jared McClure in 3rd, and Bryson Neal, Chris Bithell 4th and 5th, and your defending champ, Chris Borch, rounds out 6th place. And we got podium presentations, and coming up in just a little bit as well, side-by-side UTV racing here as a part of GNCC Live. We'll also announce the winner of our Twitter contest coming up right after this.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best? The best. You have to have the best equipment under the hood. That's why I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
This RacerTV live broadcast is brought to you by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. By Rocky Mountain ATV MC, get ready. By Maxxis Tires, find your flow. And powered by Yamaha Generators.
And welcome back to GNCC Live here at the beautiful Big Buck GNCC here in South Carolina. As once again, my friends, we pay congratulations to Walker Fowler, who gets it done late in the race, about midway point. Man, what a battle between he and Adam McGill. McGill comes in a close second place position, still holding on to the points. Sneaky Snake, and that's the exciting one, the battle for third place, a three-way battle that had those top three, those three third, fourth, and fifth place rides, only about a second and a half, 2 seconds apart separating those guys. But when they came through at the end of lap number 4, man, it had stretched out quite a bit. McClure had a big lead over Bryson Neal. Bryson Neal, a big lead over Chris Bithell. That war of attrition really took its toll on all those guys out there, I think, on that final lap.
Yeah, the final lap was, I mean, it was interesting to see, like you said, what happened to Bryson Neal on that last lap, because he did come in without his goggles on, and he lost some time to Jared McClure, and they were so close, and they were wheel to wheel, and it was some exciting racing with those guys, and it'd be cool to hear what they had to say. And, you know, also, Adam McGill, he did get second, but he's going to be holding his head up proud and high because he gave it everything he got. Walker Fowler beat him. They both gave him their best, so it was Walker Fowler's day. And, yeah, he did lose a few points, but, you know, he still has a big cushion on Walker, so Walker still has to, you know, beat him a lot more this year to make those points up. And it was a great race for both of them, and I'm sure on the podium we're going to hear some good stories about that last lap and how things went down.
Matthew Morris, you need to report back to rider registration. Evidently, you are signed up in the wrong class for tomorrow's racing. Matthew Morris, you need to report back to rider registration ASAP. Well, Fred, there you have it. Look at that right there. Fresh grass growing as we take a look at the Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com leaderboard that says FMF Steel Creek GNCC, but this is from the Big Buck. Walker Fowler, Adam McGill, Jared McClure, Bryson Neal, Chris Bithell. As we told you, Chris Borch finished up in 6th. How about it for LW right there? Landon Wolf up to 7th, one of his stronger finishes so far this year. Brian Wolf in 8th, a good, strong, consistent ride, good building process for him right now. Kevin Yoho in 9th, and Braden Henthorn staying pretty solid, and at least this week capturing top 10. We're going to start seeing things out of that rider, I think, in the future weeks as well. And looking down through that list right now, Fred, I got to tell you, any one of those guys are capable or have at least one race win under their belt, and those that haven't are certainly on their way to entering the realm of possibility, I believe.
Yeah, right. You know something else about this track, like right now you look at this picture as we look around the outside, that sand. You wouldn't think there's any sand here because it's a hard clay, red dirt part, but down the bottom it gets really whooped out and it's got a lot of sand, and that's really a cool picture. And well, here's the podium going right now with Miss Union, I believe.
Yeah, I believe Miss Union is down there. Need to turn the volume down on the other speakers over there. Jen Kenyon down on the podium right now. The right side volume knob.
And we talk about unique trophies, right?
Yeah.
Look at that trophy from here.
Yeah,
you know,
see if we can
Steel
zoom
Creek
in on
had
it.
a cool one. This is called the Big Buck for a nice big deer, and the big bucks they have here, and they've got a trophy here with a
Is that a buck
shed,
horn?
a shed on it, and it's
And-
got this really cool knife.
A buckskin
I'm not sure
knife.
if the knife's made out of deer horn or not.
It does
but
look
super
like the
cool.
handle is made out of a deer antler right there. Hey, by the way, congratulations to Mike Bolin at Bolin_Mike. He is the winner of our AMSOIL Twitter contest, where he wins $250 in AMSOIL product. He predicted Adam McGill, Walker Fowler, and Chris Borch 1, 2, and 3. He got 2 of the names right, not in the right order, but what he does get is $250. Congratulations, Mike Bolin. You are the winner of our AMSOIL Twitter contest here at the Big Buck GNCC. And yes, as you said, Miss Russell there is our Miss Union County Fair there, and Jen Kenyon down on the podium right there with her is getting a little bit of assistance as far as handing out those trophies and awards and everything. So that's an awesome experience for her. And I know that being here in Union, it's always nice to have those extra hands to help out. That's one great thing about this particular event itself, man. When you come here, Henry Turner and the Turner family has got the Chamber of Commerce out, local and state politicians come out, beauty queens come out, and probably the best rendition of the Star Spangled Banner, our national anthem, done at the start of this 1 o'clock race today by Union County native Amy House. Wow, what a great voice, no doubt about it. As the Queen, Miss Russell, makes her way up into position there onto the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to welcome to the podium our top 3 overall here today. In 3rd place, sneaking his way right onto the podium, Sneaky Snake Jared McClure. 2nd place, the number 521, the Mafia Dom himself, Adam McGill, and his 2nd win of 2015 on the number 2, Walker Fowler. And there you go, my friends. I think Walker might have got a glimpse of what that trophy looked like before the race got underway. He's like, wait a minute, I wanted to get that trophy. That's what it was all about. Jen Kenyon standing by down on the podium. She's down with Sneaky Snake.
That's right, guys, and before we get started, we've got a special guest over here. We have Ted O'Shields from the Wild Knife Trail Knives, and as you were saying earlier, we have a beautiful trophy. You see that knife handcrafted by those folks right there. So as he presents the #1 winner award here for the VP Racing Fuels Big Buck GNCC to our overall champion today, Walker Fowler. And Sneaky Snake, Jared McClure, why don't you step up here to the front of the podium. 3rd place overall here today. Talking to you before the race. You were getting all your last-minute things underway. It seemed like maybe you had a little bit of rush heading into this race, but you were ready to get on the podium here at Big Buck.
Yeah, Jen, it's been a while. I guess, I don't even remember when the last time, Unadilla, I guess. So I've been working hard all year trying to get up here. I didn't even know how it was going to go in the beginning. I pumped up real bad, but just kind of fell in line. I think everybody was pumping up a little bit. So, I just kind of tried to breathe and get rid of the arm pump and then started rolling. And got by Bithell, Bryson. Me and Bryson battled a lot. I had a bunch of lines. I had to, it sounds weird without me talking there, but yeah, I don't know, just pumped to be up here. Like I said, the bike worked awesome. The DWT tires worked great. The Elga suspension, motor was awesome. Good day.
All right, now talk about that last lap. You and Bryson were going hard there. We weren't sure which one of you was going to pop out, but it was you. So take us through that last lap and how you made it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I had a bunch of lines picked out. I tried to come in on Bryson, but he seemed to always be just a little bit ahead of me, and I didn't want to take him out. You know, I like Bryson. We're friends, so we raced clean, but it was a lot of fun. Found a little line down here before the creek jump. and he went a little wide, and I jumped this little ditch and got around him, and I was like, man, I just got to put my head down now because he was behind me for a little, and then after that, I looked back and was gone. I was like, oh, come on. So I just rode smart and ended up here.
All right, well, welcome back to the overall podium here, Jared. Who would you like to thank for making it happen?
Definitely everybody that came with me. Robbie, Coyote, Randy, little Robert. They were all my pit crew today, and, couldn't have done it without them. And my mom and dad, my girlfriend, Sierra, ATVriders.com. Harlan Foley's here, so I pumped to be up here. Bowers Motorcycle Supply, Elka Suspension, DWT Tires and Wheels, HMF, IQ, Spider Graphics, Texero, Works Connection, Motorcycle, J. Goebel, Impact Solutions, getting my shocks all dialed in. The Elkas worked awesome. Dirtworks, Glen Innovations, Sunstar, Power Mad, Wiseco, Hot Rods, Moose Racing for the awesome gear, Baldwin for this ripping motor. Mark Spataro, my trainer, he's the reason I'm up here too, man. He always has my fitness on point. So Precision Forworks, IMS, KG, and just GNCC, UGen, everybody here for putting on a great show, and all these guys I raced with for making it tough.
All right, there you have it. It's Jared McClure, Sneaky Snake, making his way up here to the overall podium. And here we still have what I believe to be the points leader in the XC1 Pro ATV class. He's got 2 wins on the season, second place here today. And he's got a really great fiance out there in the crowd. All right, Adam McGill, take us through that race out there. It was an exciting one. Tell us about it.
Oh, yeah, we got a good start. My Lion battery-powered Baldwin Motorsports. Custom Axis Honda worked so well right off the line. That thing just took off, and I kind of set sail a little bit from there, and I kept looking back thinking maybe I'm on the wrong track because Barry put a lot of new stuff in, and we really didn't have any idea where we're going. So with that being said, he come through the first lap, was doing pretty good. The crew was pumping. New Mafia fans out there wearing your green shirts were just all sorts of crazy, and I really appreciate that. Walker ended up getting around me in a real good line. I saw the line a couple laps, didn't think it was doable. He put it in there, made it work, got around me, and I'm just thinking, all right, I'm in a good spot, stay right here. We're just starting to get into traffic. I'll be fine. Tried to put in a couple good moves on him there towards the end. I get up beside him, but not enough to where I can commit and stay on the gas. It's not worth taking each other out, but I like rubbing wheels with him. So we was bumping a little bit, nothing crazy, but man, it feels awesome to be back up here on the podium. We did well here in years past and then had a dry spell, but I always love coming to South Carolina in the big buck, and now that we got the Mafia fans out there in their green shirts, this is so much sweeter. I just wish we could have capitalized on it today, guys.
You've been coming out swinging here in 2015, whole shots, getting great starts, and you're not afraid to lead heading into the woods. Not a lot of guys have that strategy. Why is it that you do?
One is I don't like to follow people. I like to be able to control the race. I like being on tops. So, it's a good feeling to know that you're setting pace and you're the guy that says we're running 4 laps or 3 laps. You're the guy that says let's go now or let's just chill. So, to be the guy in control like that, I like having those odds with me. So, to be able to get good starts like we do, this motor pulls like a bear, and these CST tires hook up great. The hypers and the tire blocks, and it's just a good package, and I'm hoping this year we can just keep pounding this Honda right up here on this box and get in the center a few more times. We was close today, but like I said, thank you guys so much out there in your green shirts. People that didn't have the green shirts, swinging around your rags. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for all the support, and I really appreciate it. So I wish we could have won it, but this feels good.
All right, Adam McGill, he's the only guy left to keep on the podium this season. Do you want to thank anybody else in there, Adam?
Oh, for sure. My dad has been a big part of this program, keeping this bike together. He's put in long hours, and it's showing. This bike's working so well. We have CST, Lone Star with their DC Pro components. There's 2 of us up here on it. CST tires, like I said, tire blocks, Spider, Custom Axis shocks are here, getting my stuff dialed in. Spider Graphics, DeRisi Racing bike builds. If you guys need help building bikes, go check him out. Baldwin Motors, you guys know this thing starts good, it pulls hard. What else can you say? GoPro for getting all the footage. You guys can check it out, see the race, see the pass, see some good bumping here in a couple days. ODI grips, Cycra, Get It Performance, Hyper, dynamic designs for my pit shirts, FMF. I mean, these things are just, we got to get the air in like we do get the air out. So FMF, RG Honda, Fast Company, Leat, Vanilla Gorilla, Wiseco, UPP, Dirtworks, Custom Axis, Quadtech, Streamline, RGR, Works Connection, Scott, DP Brace, get this thing woed down, So DP Brake, JT making me look good all the time. Twin Air, All Balls, Outerwears, Mayer Plastic, Alliant Batteries, like we said, Boysen, Pirate MX. Them guys are great, and I'm not done yet. So, PirateMX.com, they help me keep this thing going. Throttle Out Performance, and a new sponsor of mine, Armor Energy, guys. You need to check them out. They're a new one on the program, and we'll be in the middle again soon.
All right, that's Adam McGill, everybody. And as we welcome back here to the center of the podium for the first time since round 1 here in Florida, let's hear it for Walker Fowler, today's VP Racing Fuels Big Buck GNCC winner. Walker, talk about the day out there. Obviously, you and Adam had some good battles there at the end. What did you do to make it all happen?
We just got off to a good start, like we're supposed to, and getting out front early, or at least in the front group, that's what it takes to have a good day. And Adam getting out front, setting a good pace. Bryson Neal was second, basically the whole first lap, and that was just it was a good position to be in. Biffle was catching up to me. Jay Shadron was running a good race, and we were just kind of trail cruising, but not messing around like the last race. So that was nice, and just actually passed Bryson and Adam in the same line, and that's about the only one I had on him. So I figured if he took that on me, that it was going to be game over. Man, they're having a lot of fun over there. Kind of jealous.
So you had a few struggles. You got sick there in the middle of the season, or not the middle of the season, but in those second round, you bounced back. So how good does it feel kind of knowing that you had a little bit of struggles there with just your body and everything, and now you're back here? It looks to be 100%.
Yeah, we're finally healthy, and that's a huge part of our program right now is just, actually being able to get up and accomplish something to your day. And, my training is not complete at the par. I can't tell I'm a little out of shape, but, we're still able to get the job done. And, that's a good feeling when you know that you're not in shape and you can still get the win. So I'm excited about the rest of the season, head north, get into some good dirt, and, keep this win streak going.
Well, you guys are sure making this championship battle exciting for all of the fans out here, so I know they appreciate that. But, Walker, who would you like to thank for getting this win today?
Definitely want to give the glory to God first and foremost, and definitely got to thank my fans out there. You guys were awesome, and, it's a huge part of our deal to have people hanging out of the trees and off the hillsides and, being waist deep in mud and having a blast. So thank you guys. Definitely want to thank the whole NFAB and Pro Yamaha crew. Want to thank Randy Hawkins and Todd McDonald for letting us come out to their property down the road. That was a huge asset for this week, being able to ride where it's hot and, similar conditions. So thank you guys. My mechanic, Mark Notman, he's kind of a stallion, so thanks, man. I want to thank Moto Experts. This new motor we put in for this race, we went basically 180 degrees a different direction, and it was a huge improvement. So, Toby, thank you. Lone Star Components, like Adam said, there's 2 of us up here, so it's awesome stuff. Maxxis Tires hooked up great all day. Hill International Trucks, want to thank MSR. Their vented gear today was just phenomenal. Hardly even was sweating. Now that I'm sitting still, I am. Definitely want to thank Fox Suspension, DP Brakes, Tire Balls, Hyper Wheels, Vortex, Ignitions, Outerwears, Precision, Yamalube, Moto Seat, Anti-Gravity Batteries, Cycra, Leout, Wiseco, Fuel Customs, Waynesburg Yamaha, IMS, CV4, DID Chains, Works Connection. Thanks, Adam. You're the best. The D4 Power Sports Pro Taper, Indie Graphic Works. Woo! Let's see here. Bell Helmets, Gear Alloy, Scott Goggles. Definitely want to thank my good buddy Paul Turner. And, again, just my mom, my dad, my whole family, just everybody. My Florida family got my mind right. I went down for a little vacation last week, so I know they're listening. So thank you guys back home. And, again, you fans, it was awesome. Good to be back.
All right, there he is, guys. It's Walker Fowler, today's overall winner here at the Big Buck GNCC. And if we could get all 3 of our top 3 overall finishers together for a photo op. And then, of course, don't go anywhere. We've got the champagne celebration. We'll let Rodney introduce that one.
Well,
all right, and we have before we go, Rodney, we have a $250 whole shot check that's going to be awarded to this guy right here. We just don't know where it is, but that is courtesy of AMSOIL. We
Did he
appreciate
keep it?
that.
Did he keep it? Is it in his trailer back at the house or something? Oh, we repoed it. It's all right. That's not what counts anyway. It's the actual dollars you get. So, but anyway, congratulations to these guys. Congratulations to Adam on another outstanding race and a obvious $250 whole shot award there. And as we gather back around the podium, folks, let's get our hands back together one more time and congratulate our top three overall. In third place, Jared Sneaky Snake McClure. Second place, Adam McGill. And your winner of the Big Buck GNCC, Walker Fowler. And right now, my friends, we got one last celebration we got, and we also are getting ready to reset and get ready for a little UTV racing here in just a moment as they're getting down on the starting line right now. We'll be back with GNCC Live. But right now, as we always like to say in the GNCC racing world, and once these guys make their way to the podium and the winner's circle, to the victor goes the spoils. And the spoils in GNCC racing, what is that, my friends? It is the sweet, sweet spray of champagne. Come on, Walker, you need to step it up a piece, man. You're way behind. The sweet, sweet spray of champagne. See, there you go. Walker, it's been a while. I know you missed the podium last time. He's got some new fab way of actually spraying the champagne there, it looks like. But that right there, camaraderie at its best. Three salute to each other on the podium. And Fred, that's going to wrap it up. Upcoming live shows, obviously, coming up here in just a few moments. We've got our Big Buck UTV race slated to get underway around 4:30 or so come back. Tomorrow we'll be back for the 3-hour race of the motorcycles, and that is going to be another spectacular race. Can Caleb Russell make it 4 in a row? Join us tomorrow to find out the answer to that question and many more. And GNCC Live continues there. And, of course, right now the podium celebrations wind down as Adam McGill gets the T-shirt cannon out. And as he sends the love to the masses, we send the love to the masses along the World Wide Web. And hope that you guys join us here in just a few moments. And, again, here tomorrow for the motorcycle portion. Don't forget when we head to our next round of racing in a couple of weeks over in Indiana for the Limestone 100. That's going to do it for this broadcast of GNCC Live and our ATV racing action here. For Jen Kenyon and Fred Andrews, I'm Rodney Tomlin. Have a great day, everybody.